have major technical difficulties here. 2 minutes before the stream was supposed to go live, everything died. My entire life revolves around you motherfucker. And then everything just completely died. The camera stopped working, everything. I don't even hold on a second. Yeah, everything's fucking broke, dude. I may have to just quit the stream tonight because I'm not in the mood for this fucking shit. Like everything. Oh my fucking god, dude. I gotta reboot my Mac. I may or may not be back. All right, it says I'm live. I'm about sick of this shit. I'm gonna look at the stream from my. All right, it says I'm live. Let's check it out for a minute. All right, well that's good to know. I need to calm down for a second because, like, I got to gather my composure because it is like my entire life, literally from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, revolves around broken software that doesn't fucking work. I swear to God, if I work 10 hours in a day, 5 of those hours are trying to fix a bug in a broken piece of software that I have to figure out so that I can do a job for somebody or do a job for me. And we're all dealing with this. I am not alone. I'm sure you have noticed they call it the enshittification of everything. Literally, we are watching our world collapse around us. I was ready to go. I had everything queued up. Everything was smooth. Everything was going perfect. Everything was fast. Everything was ready to go. 3 minutes before I was supposed to go live, beach balls start spinning on my screen for Firefox, which is the browser that I'm using. I have every web browser installed, but Firefox has been a little bit smoother for doing these live streams. Brave doesn't work. Chrome is a bloated piece of trash. It's the buggiest, slowest web browser there is now. So I've been doing Firefox, but all of a sudden Firefox took a dump. And I did not want to start today's stream 10, 15 minutes into the fucking stream bitching about glitchy software, but here I am. But if I just rewind the last 3 days of my life, Sunday, oh my God, Sunday I was trying to do what should have been an easy job for a client. Every single piece of software in the stack was broken. Just complete and utter trash. Like nothing works right. I mean, we are living the movie Idiocracy in real time. And I know the title of my video is about the car. Whether it's the software that runs your piece of shit car. Like we remember in the 1980s, well, not everybody will remember if you are younger than me, you might not. But anybody who's my age and older, you remember back in the 1980s, it was unheard of for a car to get more than 100,000 miles before it was just trashed and it was headed to the landfill. The quality was just garbage. Then all of a sudden, Honda, Toyota, other companies started manufacturing cars that could go 200, 300,000 miles and never need anything. They would just rust out. They would just deteriorate due to natural causes, but the engines and the mechanics and the electronics were fine. And these automobile manufacturers figured out a few years back that if we keep making cars that are good, we won't be able to sell as many cars because people will just keep the cars that run. And so now we're back to we have the best technology that the world has ever seen, and now they can't even make a fucking car that gets 60,000 miles anymore. 100,000 miles. We're going back to that. And so anyway, but we're seeing it everywhere. This whole fiasco with I'm going to test my stuff out here. I'm going to test this camera. I got to like turn up the volume on my phone here. There's a big delay between there's check. Hold on a second. Yeah, it looks like everything's working now. There's like a 20 to 30-second delay between when I actually talk and when you hear me or see me. So I had to I'm looking at my phone off to the side, which is running the live stream. And so I'm just checking to make sure things are working. It's kind of like a backup test for me to just make sure everything's cool. We're live. I mean, this is a live thing, and the technology's fucking garbage. It's garbage. I mean, and I watch a lot of people's live streams, and I am far from the only person who goes through this kind of stuff. Half the people I watch, their live streams get all jacked up because of some technology snag or whatever. I'm not like, I expect this crap. But, I try to put on a little bit of a professionalism here, and it's hard to do when everything's garbage. Everything is fucking broke. And everything gets shittier. There's a really good YouTube video called The Enshittification of Everything. And it actually prompted me to watch the movie Idiocracy all over again. That and the fact that we're having cage fights on the White House lawn coming up here in the next week or so. Those two things were like, it's been a few years since I watched Idiocracy. I want to see how much is still coming true. And the enshittification of everything. If you watched the movie, the Brondo Gatorade company, when they decided to finally stop watering plants with Gatorade and use water again because all the plants were dying and they were all going to starve. Society was going to starve as a result. The economy collapsed and billions of people lost their jobs, and the whole economy was in free fall because they stopped watering plants with Gatorade, and the whole economy depended on Gatorade. It's like the perfect metaphor for the enshittification of everything. This video explains how when companies get to a certain point of success, they cannot make any more money than they currently make because the market is saturated with their products, and they're just not going to grow anymore. And so the only way that these companies are basically required to keep improving the value of their company and the shares on the stock market, because everybody's retirement and everybody's 401k and everybody's savings revolve around these companies going up and up and up in the stock market. But it gets to the point where these companies get so big that the only way that they can increase the value of their shares is to rip everybody off and make their products shitty on purpose and just take a shit all over everybody. But the economy depends on it. Like, this video is explaining how if these companies did not ruin everything and make it bad, the economy would collapse, because the economy is literally dependent on these big companies getting so big that they turn around and start ripping us off to make even more money than they already make, because it's the only way that the stock can grow. And it's just like mind-blowing, you know what I mean, when you think about all of this. And so I'm just telling you, I cannot list all of the software problems that I've dealt with in the last, if I count Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we are on Wednesday. 30, let's say I worked 30, 40 hours in that span of time. 25 to 30 of it's been spent problem solving, trying to work around a broken piece of shit software app that's not doing its job that I have to depend on, and I don't have a choice. I have to find a way to get around the gate or climb up over the fence that's blocking me from getting from point A to B and find a way to undo find a way through. But we're all going through this. We all rely on software that's garbage. I mean, if the only time they build software with any kind of quality is when they could lose money because of it. And like lose money in terms of a lawsuit because somebody died, fines and lawsuits because people's private data was compromised. Major things, major glitches in the matrix. Glitches that could sink the company will get attention. Otherwise, they don't give a fuck. If they built cars the way that software is built, you would all die. You would all die. You would all have a 80% chance of dying every time you get behind the wheel of a car and trying to drive somewhere if cars were built the same way software is built. I worked in the software industry as a senior level front-end interface designer, a front-end engineer, a senior level user experience designer. I've been in many software companies, big and small. It's the most, if you care about quality, don't go after that career. It will make you, you'll turn into me. You'll be the most jaded, irritated, pissed off guy in the room because you're just sick and tired of looking at a complete shit show every time you wake up and go to work. And when they hire you to fix the problems and then you point out all the problems and they turn around and tell you, well, yeah, we're not going to bother with that because that would cost money. Well, then what the fuck did you hire me for? You hired me to tell you what's wrong with the problems and propose solutions and design a better experience for your customers. And then when I tell you what's wrong, propose the better experience, you just throw it in the fucking trash because you don't want to spend the money. All right, then, fine. I'll take your fucking money and run, but don't expect me to give a shit when I get to work. And that's where it left off. And so I don't even think I ever want to do that again. We're 18 minutes in. Maybe we have, this totally ruined the algorithm, any chance I had of getting people to come to the stream tonight are gone. The reason why I changed the thumbnail, the title, the description, and all that stuff, part of it was because when I was homeless, people were watching the videos. So, now it says nobody's on the stream. It says 0 viewers. So, but all these technical difficulties and this whole 20 minutes of wasting all the time of the stream has pretty much put the kibosh on this video. So, I'm going to sit here and do it. But at this point, it's like, it's not a waste of time for me to hang out with you people, the OGs and the cool people that show up here. You're awesome. I love all of you. But trying to grow the YouTube channel, I can't be having these problems. This whole technical difficulties for the last 10, 15 minutes pretty much just train wrecked. The algorithm's not going to show the thumbnail to anybody. It's pretty much dead. It's a dead stream. But we're just going to go with it. We're just going to keep going. For anybody who's new to the channel, this is how I was supposed to start the stream today. For anybody who's new to the channel, I know a lot of you are the OGs. You come every week. I love all of you. Like I said, we're having a good time. We're here to have a good time. I'm done bitching about the technical difficulties. We're going to get on with the show. But for those of you who are new here, or if you're watching the replay and you've never been here before, from surviving 2 years of federal prison over a mean tweet and being thrown into homelessness on the streets of Jamestown, New York. Now I'm living the Houston hustle, starting over in Texas, trying to rebuild a stable life. And this channel is about sharing the raw truth about the transition from homeless to housed and the mindset that it takes to keep grinding when life gets uncomfortable. And, while the past has shaped me and, uncomfortable describes exactly what I went through here in the first 10 minutes of the stream today. Um, this stream is about the here and now. And so I'm giving you a behind the scenes look at the reality of the Houston hustle, showing you the small wins of rebuilding and putting stability back into my life, along with the unexpected hurdles that come with a fresh start, including technical difficulties when you jump into a YouTube live stream. But it's not just me talking into a camera. It's a two-way street. We got the live chat here. The chat is open. I want to hear your stories. What's up, JS? Muskegee Land, Andrew B996, and whoever else popped in. Joseph, Sylvia 2141, Dave Gass, what up? And everybody else who's jumped in or out. Hopefully things are working for you. But yeah, bring your questions. Whatever you got about the transition, the legal battle, the daily grind, or whatever else you want to talk about. We talk about all kinds of things here, especially on this live stream. This week, the topic I have in mind is the reality of having car struggles when you hit rock bottom. I'm too broke to fix a broke down car. This Volkswagen just keeps breaking down. And basically, so I have the constant stress of unreliable wheels while I'm trying to build stability. And, not enough money to fix it. Every time I want to get an oil change, something else breaks. Got to fix that first. So by the time I get everything fixed on this car and it actually runs, the engine's just going to fry out because an oil change on this car is over $100 because it's all synthetic. But you can go 5,000 miles between changes. Shit, my Jeep used to be $60-$70 for oil changes. I mean, everything is just more expensive now. So, but I spent, oh man, I could even pull up my budget sheet here to talk about this car. So, for those who don't know, for anybody who's new to the channel here, the way I was living my life, one of the problems where I live in Houston, and Houston in general, there's no public transportation. So you've got to walk everywhere you go, drive. The entire city of Houston is completely based on having a car. If you don't have a car, you're in some deep shit here. Pittsburgh, if I lived in Pittsburgh and I lived anywhere near the city, I would be able to use public transportation. And honestly, most of the time, public transportation's better than driving a car if you're within striking distance of downtown. I would much rather take the train than drive if I lived close to the trolley lines. I used to live right down the street from the trolley line in Pittsburgh. I could walk to the train. Trains are every 5 minutes during rush hour. Hop on a train, be down at my office like 15, 20 minutes later. If I got in my car and drove, hour and a half. Hour and a half, $20 for parking, the whole nine. I could get home quicker on the train and get to my house, grab my car and drive somewhere than I could get to the same place leaving from downtown Pittsburgh, from the parking garage after work, driving straight to the destination. It would be faster to take the train home first. Not every day, but, I'd say 50% of the time, that's for sure. So this car, but, What first of all, for those who may be new or stopping in for the first time, all the OGs know that I'm a cyclist, so I was riding a bicycle everywhere. I had a job, part-time job. I still have the job. 25 miles away, each direction, I was riding a bicycle 3 to 5 times a week to go to that job. 200, sometimes 300 miles a week. I did 4,000 miles in a year. And here, I don't know what they have in downtown Houston, but I can't even get public transit to go into the city from here, Muskogee Land. You're asking, do they have light rail in Houston? Um, I think they have some buses and shit, but they're pretty much useless. It's pretty much there. It's not like Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's a smaller city, but you can get buses. The buses go everywhere, and they're easy to read the schedules. It's easy to get used to riding the buses in Pittsburgh. Here, I don't think, even if I lived in the city, I've seen buses. I've ridden my bike down into Houston. I've seen buses around and this and that and the other thing, but no, there's no public transit here. So I had to basically, the only reliable form of transportation I have is a bicycle. And money was so tight, I bought a second bicycle because I just needed to make sure I always have a bicycle that I can get to and from with. And then money fell out of the sky for me to buy a car. But my budget to buy a car was going to be about $5,000. And I mean, seriously, what can you get? What kind of car can you get for $5,000? A YouTube video popped up the other day of like basically how you can't get a car for $5,000 that's even going to fucking run. And it boiled down to two choices. A 2012 Volkswagen Passat with about 145,000 miles on it, or a 2007 Toyota Corolla with about 175,000 miles on it. Same price. Both cars, same price. I looked at so many cars for a month. I looked at car after car after car for a month, and they were all garbage. They weren't anything. I wouldn't even touch oil leaks, everything. You couldn't even, no, nothing. I could not find a car worth buying in over a month of looking. Finally came down to one of these two cars, both of which seemed like they'd be all right. Between the two, the Volkswagen seemed like the better deal at the time. Now I'm wondering, I'm having second thoughts about this. I bought the car in September. In late October, I started having electronic issues. I spent money and time. The car had 100, John, aka JS, says the Toyota is reliable, but tons of miles. Had 175,000 miles on it. So it was like, you know what I mean? Like, what? I really don't, to be honest, I'm not kicking myself for making the wrong choice because I feel like either choice would have resulted in the same result. But I'm having bad luck. And there's a good side and a bad side to this. So I will talk about, I'm dwelling on the negative right now, but there is a positive. I bought the car for $3,800 cash. It's well under my $5,000 budget. Put a new battery in when I started having problems. The electronic issues, the battery didn't do nothing. Then I got ripped off at a garage. It ended up being the body control module, which is a computer chip essentially that controls, it's not the ECU, it controls everything aside from the engine control and the powertrain. The ECU controls the powertrain, the BCM controls everything else. The two main computer brains of the car. Well, it needed a BCM to fix the problem. First garage I took it to, they told me it would be about $800, but when they got my car, they called me up and told me they wanted $2,200. They basically did a bait and switch on me. Then they charged me $200 for a diagnostic, or they wouldn't give me my car back. So now I'm like, between the battery and that, and now we're into December. I'm at like $350 so far on this car, and I haven't even fixed the first problem. Then I go to the next garage and they tell me the same thing, body control module. Then they charge me 140 to do a diagnostic. And then they told me to bring the car back because they didn't have time to do it or whatever right now. Then when I brought the car back after, because finally the car wouldn't start anymore and I couldn't drive it anywhere, it was $815 to fix that. So for that one repair, I was at $1,287 over the course of October, November, and December for trying to get this fixed. But some of that was rip-off fees. Some of that was being ripped off. It should have cost me about $800 to get that fixed if I had a good garage. So just breaking it down in terms, oh, what's up, Carlos Espinoza from Orlando? How you doing? Glad to see some people popping in. We're having some technical difficulties, but I think we've ironed that out. I think we'll be all right now. Hopefully the audio is good. I've got a fan running. It's kind of hot in here. I'm just trying to keep my computer CPU a little bit cooler. So I've got a fan aimed right at the laptop, just trying to keep some airflow going. I may even have to turn on in fact, I'm going to do that. You may hear some noise in the background, but it is what it is. The AC unit is loud. I like to have a quiet room when I do these streams, but it's already, the temperature is climbing. It's hot in Houston right now. But being homeless, having no credit, no money, can't get a job to save my life, walking everywhere, taking a bicycle everywhere. Those are my modes of transportation. No public transit where I live here in Houston in the suburbs. And so what do you do? Like, what are your options? And even in a normal life, even like the most broke ass ghetto economy living person could go to like the buy here, pay here dealer and get some jalopy, overpriced jalopy that's going to break down in 2 months. I didn't even have that option. I was lucky. Jesus came out of the sky and handed me a check to get a car, straight up. And so that was a blessing. And that car has allowed me to do things. To be honest, life is a lot better having a car, even a car with problems. But now that the problems, so a few weeks ago, I had a check engine light come on, and then all of a sudden the car went into limp mode and throttle body. Fuel injection, throttle body had to be replaced, $700. So the total amount of repairs I've put into a car that I've owned for 6 months is $1,974.12. That's to keep my car on the road for 6 months. And so now I just got that repair done the other day, and I can't get my emissions to pass. So Houston does this real quick emissions check where they plug in a computer and they check to make sure there's no check engine light codes. Well, every time I go to take my car to get inspected, the check engine light comes on and I'm fucked. So now I'm a month and a half overdue on inspection, and you can't do the registration renewal on your car until you get it inspected. So my registration's expired for a month and a half now. So 2 days ago, I had the throttle body replaced, drove the car for about 2 weeks, no problems. I'm on my way home from the bakery yesterday, check engine light comes on. It's the same code it's been throwing before. So now I cannot get my emissions to pass once again until I drop hundreds of dollars on O2 sensors or whatever the fuck this problem is. And it's a money pit. And when you're broke and when you're down on your luck, what are your options when it comes to getting a car? You don't have any. You don't have options at all. No matter what kind of car you get yourself into, it's going to be a fucking trap, a money pit. And then on top of that, the brand new cars that we get ourselves into now are traps. They're money pits. They're not designed to last 100,000 miles. 50,000 miles, it needs a new transmission, sometimes 30,000, sometimes 20,000. These cars don't last. New cars don't even last to the end of the warranty anymore. And the dealers and the car manufacturers try everything they can to get out of covering your warranty repairs. It's such a, but what are you going to do? Um, so my check engine light's back on. I can still drive the car. I drove it to work and back on Monday. I drove it after the check engine light came on. I plugged in my scan tool. I got the codes. I cleared the codes. I said, fuck it. I still got to go to the grocery store. I got to go this. I got to do that. So I did this and that and the other thing, drove home. So the car's drivable. At this point, it's a bucket of bolts that gets me from point A to B. Just the O2 sensor to replace. I don't know if I can get to it myself to replace it myself. I don't have a lift. I don't have jack stands. I don't have anything to. I have tools, but I don't have a place to do the work. You know, having a garage or even a driveway, someplace where you can jack up your car, get under it. If this was a Wrangler or a Jeep or something off the ground, I could just climb under it and go up in there and replace, tinker with it. So I'm going to try a different garage this time because the last time when my throttle body broke, I had to limp it to the garage that was closest to me. And it was the same place that did the body control module. And they are walking distance from my house, 2 miles. It's not a bad walk. And they're pretty honest. They're friendly. I don't think I was getting ripped off. I think their quotes came in around what any other garage that's not a rip-off garage would charge. Maybe not the dirt cheapest, but certainly not anywhere near what a dealership would cost either. And put it this way, the garage at the end of my street that wanted $2,200 to replace the body control module, this garage that's 2 miles away, they charged me $820 for it. $814.46 plus the $135.58 diagnostic fee. And then when I got my throttle body done, I said, do I got to pay the diagnostic fee if you're just going to do this? They waived the diagnostic fee as a second-time customer. So they're not bad. But they're a little bit slow on the communication. My car was done for like 2 days and they never told me to come get it. And just different things. They're hard to get a hold of when you call them and ask. They're kind of like, they're a real busy shop and they're really friendly, but it seems like there's a lot of chaos. And I feel like I don't feel like they did a bad job. I don't feel like they did anything to do me wrong. But there's another garage that specializes in German cars, got really good reviews. I've already talked to them a couple of times. Their quotes came in line with the other place, and they seem like they would be a lot more personable and the size garage that I think that's going to be my go-to, but I don't know until I go. So that's another challenge when you move someplace where you don't know anybody. What do you do? Like, you realize like how important it is to find a trustworthy mechanic because it's kind of like a 50-50 toss-up it's a 50-50 toss-up when you go trying to find a mechanic of whether they're going to be good or not. In Pittsburgh, I lived there for 25 years in the city of Pittsburgh, so I knew people and I knew things, and I had a back alley mechanic who could do my inspections, brakes, exhaust work, things like that. But then he got a little shady at some point and I had to stop going to him. But for years, he was a good guy. Had another garage that was like a middle of the road garage. And then there was a top tier garage, I called it, where they're going to do a really good job. They won't charge as much as the dealership would charge, but they're definitely going to be the most expensive of the three. But sometimes you got to go to that guy because they're the only ones that can do it. For example, Jeep Liberty, one of the 2006 Jeep Liberty Renegade I had, the AC compressor dies like once a year on those things. You get an AC compressor, it's going to last about 6 months to a year, and then it's going to die. And so they even make a pulley that you can just replace the AC condenser with a static pulley. So you can wrap the serpentine belt around it and just like forget about having AC from now on. That's how bad they are. That they made some aftermarket guy made a. He's like, here, just it's a bracket with a pulley that puts it puts the belt in the same position it would be with the AC compressor hooked up, because they're just the most unreliable garbage. So the top tier garage in Pittsburgh, he was going to charge me $1,700 to do the AC compressor. I was like, yo, the fuck out of here. So I go, the middle of the road AC guy, or the middle of the road mechanic, he charged me $400. It's probably an aftermarket AC compressor, but it had a warranty, and I cashed it in because it died in a year. It had like a 3-year warranty. After a year, it died like they do. I took it back, got another one free. So you got to shop around. And I had, like I said, I had multiple mechanics that I trusted for different things. Need brakes done? Go to the guy in the back alley. You need you need your AC compressor, guy in the middle. The iDig sheet says, before you pull in for your inspection, disconnect the positive on your battery for 30 seconds. It will clear the code. You pull up and pass. Little pro tip. No, it doesn't work like that. The code's clear, but there's monitors in the unit that don't get cleared out just by doing a reset. I have a scan tool. I can plug my scan tool into the ODB or the OB. I do this every single time. I get the old dirty bastard ODB confused with the onboard diagnostic port, the OBD. So you can plug in the scanner to the OBD port, go into the menu and say clear the codes, boom. But if you take that to a garage and you do your inspection, they're going to go, oh, you cleared the codes. You got to go drive around for 100 miles for the monitors to reset, and it's a lottery. So I cleared the codes on Monday. If I go for 100-mile drive and and the check engine light stays off, I might be able to sneak it in and get my inspection done, and then deal with whatever the actual problem is after the fact. But my car just doesn't cooperate. So right now the car's drivable, but I'm driving a ticking time bomb when it comes to getting pulled over by the cops, especially with their license plate scanners and everything else, and I'm too poor to do anything about it. And I have, it's a Bank One, the front of the catalytic converter, Bank One O2 sensor. That's my next thing to replace. If that works, so be it. If not, then it could be an exhaust leak. Absolute worst case scenario, it's a catalytic converter, and at that point, I'm basically fucked. Now, they don't, Carlos Espinoza, I didn't know they still did car inspections here in Florida. Your engine can be half falling off, and they don't do car inspections in Texas anymore. I don't need brakes. I don't need anything. I don't need turn signals, headlights, brakes. I don't need any of that shit to pass. It literally checks the check engine light emissions, because the check engine light means it's a problem with the emissions. Anyway, so I'm going to take it to the German auto garage, ask the dude, say, look, it's an O2. If it's an O2 cent aftermarket, do it cheap. Do it on the cheap. Does it have to be OEM? Even so, it'll probably be 150 labor, 100 to 150 for the part. $300 for an O2 sensor. 150 labor, or me out in my yard. Right, but I don't have the... You need shit to be able to see, that's the thing. Like, I'm not getting, I'm not like dissing you. I dig sheet. The point is, when you're starting over life and you have absolutely nothing and you were thrown out into the street to be homeless after 2 years in prison for a tweet, you don't have things that you would have if you were a 50-year-old man who's lived in a house for several years and has tools and shit. If I was at my old house back in Pennsylvania, yeah. Number one, I could do it myself. But number two, I had a trustworthy garage at the end of my street that gave me friend and family discount, and they probably would have done it for $200. And the part would have been 120. You know what I mean? They charged me like $50 an hour for labor or what. But anyway, I don't have any place to do the work. My yard is muddy. It's covered. It floods. It doesn't like flood like it goes up over your feet. Right now it's been raining so much here. Like I'm not laying down on the grass covered in scorpions and snakes and every other fucking thing crawling around and fire ants in a mud puddle just to try and get. And I don't have jack stands, so how much would it cost me for jack stands and the things, or whatever I need to get the car lifted just to get under it in the first place? Then what? The O2 sensor's corroded and I can't get it out. Now I got to go get thread lock, and then I've got to do this, and I need this other tool, and I'll end up spending $500 throwing tools all over the place, punching the wall, screaming and yelling, getting the cops called on me because I'm throwing a temper tantrum and everybody can hear me, or I can just take it to the garage. If I had a paved driveway or some place where I could like do this comfortably, a couple of jack stands, I have a jack, the emergency kit jack that you keep in the back of your car, but I'm not getting under my car with the only thing holding it up being that. Exactly. So I have a lot of tools. I have a full socket set in my trunk, jack, all the things I need. I was at the grocery store parking lot and I pulled out a diagnostic scan tool, plugged it into the OBD port, and got the codes and cleared the codes in the grocery store parking lot. I have a battery tester. I have all kinds of tools in my bag. Flat tire plugs. I've got a portable air compressor. I've got power packs. I've got a lot of stuff in a kit. So if I have like an emergency on the side of the road, I'm pretty comfortable being able to fix a lot of stuff. But it's that whole concept of you realize what you don't have when you are literally starting over from nothing. And I'm trying to think, because just the other day I picked a measuring cup. The other day I picked up a measuring cup. Like who is a 50-year-old dude who's lived in a house for 20 something years doesn't have a measuring cup? You know what I mean? It's like just random things. There was another like random thing I didn't have the other day that left me fucking hanging on something. And it was only because, I'm starting over from nothing. And I can't, like right now it's lost on me as to what it was. But I had to go online and buy it. Like some random thing that most people would just have. And so I'm getting there. But part of the recovery process, when you really do hit rock bottom, and Dig Sheet says he was homeless for 2 years, waiting on housing, so he feels my pain. And it's like, there's good things going on with me. It's not all gloom and doom by a long stretch, but the frustrating things get exacerbated because of the position that I'm in. I can't get a good job. The economy is a train wreck. There are no jobs in the first place. And on top of that, I can't even get a job because I have a criminal record. So nobody will hire me for anything. So I have to survive on clients. I had to start my own business to survive. And that can be just as that honestly is more frustrating than I would rather have a job. But that's out of the cards. And they won't hire me. They treat me worse than a child rapist. I could have murdered somebody and gotten a job by now. Like they do not like it when you go up against the government. Run your fucking mouth. I'll tell you that. They make sure they're going to ruin your fucking life. But I'm fighting back. And yeah, Carlos says, I remember your tiny house. You're doing better, brother. Yeah. And that was the whole, oh, that fan died. Give me a second. I'm going to switch out the battery on this thing. Be right back. All right, here we go. All right, back in action. Um, yeah, I mean, life is better today. I mean, I wouldn't go back to where I was a year ago or 2 years ago for any. I wouldn't trade that in for anything. Um, without a doubt. so, yeah, I mean, I would, I was saying to myself the other day, I'd rather have a car that has problems than not have a car at all. So, what are the positives about having a car, even if this car has problems? And there's a laundry list of things this car needs. Any used car in that price range is going to have a laundry list of things wrong with it. That's just the way it is. So, what would be the alternative? Obviously, going back to riding my bicycle everywhere and not having a car at all. I'm thankful that I can go grocery shopping, I can go to the gym, I can go to my friend's house, I can do different things, and occasionally I have to take it to the shop and blow my entire fucking bank account to keep it on the road. But there are positive things about having a fucked up car. Should I have got the Toyota? I don't know, because maybe the Toyota. I have a friend who has a Toyota, and she has nothing but problems with her car all the time. Like, she can't go 3 months without her car having to go to the shop. And she hates it and she wants to get rid of it. And it's not a brand new Toyota. It's got some miles on it, probably less miles than my car has. And she's always telling me about how it's constantly like it's just the worst car she's ever had. And it's a Toyota. I can't remember the model. But you never know what you're going to get. I've had good cars and bad cars. Right now, this Volkswagen's on. It's like one step above my Pontiac Grand Am, which is the worst car I ever had. This car's reminding me of what it was like to have the Pontiac Grand Am. I never hated a car more before or since than the Pontiac Grand Am that I used to own. Um, but anyway, I still have a car that I can trade in. Number one, I can sell it. I can get money back in my hand by getting rid of the car one way or another. Um, if I can fix this check engine light, get it inspected, and all of that, it helps me sell it. Now, on the road to recovery, when I came out of jail, when I moved down to Houston, so I was released from federal prison in April 2nd, 2024. And I moved to Houston I believe it was September 11th of all days, September 11th, 2024. And sometime in the month of September or October, I started looking into getting a car loan, just entertaining myself to see if I could. And I've had a car loan with Capital One before, and they were real easy to deal with. And so I tried with them again, and they wouldn't give me the time of day. Even though I paid off my loan and I didn't default when I was arrested, we traded in the truck that I had a loan out for, and the dealership paid off the loan. So I was above water on that loan. And so I had that little bit of history with them, but I don't think they don't give a shit about that. They only care about what you're doing now. And now at the time, they wouldn't give me a loan at all. So the only options were pay cash or buy here, pay here lot, where you go and get a jalopy that costs, $10,000 for a $2,000 car that falls apart in 3 months, gets repossessed, and then they sell it again to somebody else. And they'll do that 8 or 9 times on a jalopy, and they'll make like $30,000 on a $2,000 car. Those rip-off auto lots. I have bought cars at questionable car lots before, kind of like maybe one step above a lot like that, and I've done okay. Some of it just boils down to which car you choose. My Mini Cooper was a pretty good buy. My Cherokee was another lot, a small little lot with a single wide trailer office on the parked on the lot. That was the most reliable vehicle I ever owned. So you got Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. In the price range, if I were to go and look again, I don't even know if I could probably rustle up $5,000 if I really, like, I don't even know. It would take me a few months. I'm not even a thousandaire right now. And if I got to drop all the money in my bank account on this car again, it'd be another fucking month before I'm even a 1,000aire again. So I don't even know. On the plus side, though, I've pretty much been paying my bills on time. I'll be a little bit late on certain bills. I have bills that stack up on the first of the month. I need to switch the due dates to the middle of the month. And the Volkswagen sucks. It's a piece of shit. It's a lemon. I want to get rid of it. That's the short version. Blue Sky, what's up? 7704 in the house. One of the OGs, channel member. What are the options, right? I could go to so at first when I moved here, no options. But my credit improved. I started paying the bills a little bit. Yeah, I really haven't been behind on bills. Sometimes I'll pay a couple of bills a couple of weeks late, like my cell phone and stuff. And it's because they all stack up on the first of the month. And so sometimes I'm just tapped. But the last half of the month, I hardly have any bills to pay. So I do not carry bills from one month to the next. At the last day of the current month, all the bills of the month will be paid. That has, honestly, it's since I moved out of my friend's house, that's never not been the case where all my bills get paid every month. Some of them get paid a week or two late. Credit cards never get paid late, but that's okay. Credit cards. I went from not being able to get any credit to all of a sudden people were offering me credit cards. And now I get credit card offers in the mail all the time. And I've signed up for a bunch. But I'm actually being selective about. I only sign up for the ones that meet certain criteria. But I have a bunch of them now, and I'm juggling them, and I'm using them to pay my bills mostly, and then I just pay the credit card bills at the end of or when they're due, and I try to pay the full balance, but that's been hard over the last couple of months. I was sick for 2 weeks. In fact, last Wednesday, I think I was just done getting sick. I don't even know. I was sick. I lost some money from being sick because when you're poor and you don't get things like sick days and shit like that. If you're sick and you're broke, you don't get paid and you become more broke. And on top of that, you can't afford to go to a doctor or you could just fuck off and die. But, so there was that, plus the car repair. Money was tight. I've got one credit card just for auto repairs. It's a auto specific credit card that you can use at auto garages. Had it almost paid off, had to swipe it again and max it out to pay for my fucking car again when it just broke. But it saved me. It made it easier to pay for it. Anyway, I've got a bunch of credit cards. And some of them are all right. Some of them are crap. And then I've got a pile of credit card applications next to me here on my desk that are just trash that I won't accept. I'm like, no, fees are too high, this, that, and the other thing. I'm not going to do it. Not even to build my credit because I've got enough accounts now. And so with that, I went back to Capital One and I applied for an auto loan. And this was like back in October, November, December-ish. They gave me approval for an auto loan back then. And I didn't take advantage of it I was just curious. And so Last month, when my car broke down, I went back and applied again. And they gave me pre-approval again with a little bit better rates than the last time. And so those are good. Those pre-approvals are good for like a month. But because I'm self-employed, I would have to go through a lot of hoops to have proof of income and like I probably can't just go to an auto dealership, sign and drive home. But I might be able to get away with giving them 3 months of redacted bank statements that basically cross off expenses and just show income, which is what you do if they ask for bank statements. You don't just hand them a bank statement. You magic marker or use an Acrobat to blank out anything that's not a deposit, and you just show the deposits and some other information. And my main checking account, well, I have 2 different checking accounts, so I could show that I have pretty good income, but I have to go through more hoops than most of the time. They'll be like, bring two paycheck stubs and you're good. Well, if you're self-employed, it's like, we want 8 months worth of bank statements, 3 years of tax returns, and all this other bullshit. So I don't know what they're going to want, but I'm one step closer to being able to get like a loan for a better car. But then what? You go and you take out a loan for a car, and then the car starts breaking down and having problems, and now you got to go drop $800 on a car repair and make your car payment every month. And your auto insurance goes up because you've got a newer car and you need to have full coverage and this and that and the other thing. And you're just throwing money out the toilet every month. But when I go to the Capital One website, where they list cars that are at dealers that they will finance, and then they give you the terms and everything. So all you got to do is go to the dealer, make an appointment, bring your pre-approval letter with you, and then it's almost a done deal until, they might make me jump through hoops or whatever, because it's never done until it's done. Until I have them key. Even when you have the keys in your hand and you drive away, it might not be done. Like, I've had that experience before. Or almost had that experience. I had a car dealership almost get me to sign and drive a truck when the loan wasn't approved. And I said, I'll come back. So Blue Sky, you said Citizens Bank was great for being self-employed, bought a cruise through them. What documentation did they want from you to prove your income? Just out of curiosity, you can put it in the chat. But either way, I'm still a disorganized mess. I mean, I come across sometimes as being organized, and I am, but I'm not. I have a lot of problems, and so I'm not 100% sure I can. But without going too negative here, when I look on Capital One's website, I'm like, if I'm going to take out a loan for a vehicle, it may as well be for something I like. But at the same time, I don't want to go ridiculous. 3 months business bank statements. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That's perfect. That would be okay for me. I'm still not even at the point where I can keep a separate business account. My personal and business are all mixed together, but I can show the income. And I could even print out my Square account. I can show the income. But anyway, the cars, when I go and look at the cars, yeah, I could get a 2-door Jeep Wrangler and my payments would be around $400 a month. And that's going to be painful in my current situation. But I've looked at cars on there. They come and go, but I looked at one. It was a Fiat 500 Pop turbo with I think it had 40,000 miles on it. Stick shift. I change it to stick shift sometimes just to whittle down the results because I like driving a stick shift. And but if I trade in my car and put $1,000 on top of my car, my payments Some of these cars, I could get a car payment for less than $100 a month with a big enough down payment. $150 a month, roundabout. No more than $200 a month. But if I played my cards right, I could get a fairly decent car with low mileage on it. But it's going to be some kind, it's going to be like, what was the one I looked at yesterday? It was a Chevy Spark, or not. It wasn't an electric car. So I don't even know what the fuck it was. And I'm not going to pull up the website because I don't know what personal information would show up. But there's different cars that pop up. And I changed the search results or parameters to see what's up. Like I looked at a Subaru Crosstrek. I've looked at other cars. I'll change the mileage limit, no more than 80,000 miles. I'll mess around with the search filters to see what I can get to pop up. And so Ross Will says self-employed, Amazon, eBay, PayPal, and On Deck offer lending with 3 clicks if you move money on their platform. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I could do it. So I'm trying to keep that in my pocket because, but I guess, if this car that I currently have, if the repair bills are going to cost me more than a car payment, it's got to go. And right now, let's just do the math. Oh, I've already got it done. I've got it in a spreadsheet. It's right in front of me, dirt. I've spent $1,974.12 on auto repairs over 9 months. That's $394.82 per month. I'm looking at another $300 to $400 minimum right now. That's okay. So let's say 1974.12 plus 400 divided by 12. I'm looking at let's say it's 9 months. If I spend another 400 on the car, and then I have no more problems for the remainder of the next 3 months, that's still $198 a month just to keep my car on the road and repair bills. But those are unexpected. It's not like a car payment. So if I could get a car that doesn't give me outrageous repair bills unexpectedly all the time, but it is a lottery. You are playing the lottery every time you buy a car. You don't really know what's going to happen. That Fiat 500 looked really dope. I mean, I'm not a big fan of those, but this car I swear to God, if I could get 2,000 in trade, which I probably can't, but if I could, between trade and down payment, put down $3,000 on the car, the monthly payment for the car loan would have been like $90 a month for a stick shift turbo Fiat 500. With like 50,000 miles on it or roundabout, give or take, that would probably be a more reliable car than what I'm driving right now. And it would be fun because it's a stick shift. It's not what I'm looking for. Ideally, if I could go out and get anything I want, I'd go get a 2-door Wrangler of some kind. But in order to get something that's affordable in a 2-door Wrangler, I'm going to have a $400 to $500 a month car payment. And it's going to have 100,000 miles on it at least. So, you know what I mean? So I don't think that's a smart move on my part right now. John, aka JS, says don't get a Mercedes. That wouldn't even be on my list. But unless it's the 90s versions. There was a 1995 Mercedes S. Let me see. Yeah, it was a 1995 Mercedes. Not that one. No, it wasn't the 300. I got to look this up. Is that the one? SLK. Yeah, it was a 1995 Mercedes SLK 200 convertible. and it was fucking beautiful in the pictures. The distance was about 45 miles away from me, but it was in my budget. I could have gone and paid cash for the car. Had about $90,000, an SLK 200. I could probably pull up a photo of it. Main thing that was kind of like, number one, the first thing I'm thinking is, I mean, it was just like this, but there's got to be a different. Yeah, I mean, that's basically the car. Here, I'll show you. This is basically the car. It's got a hard top convertible that you push a button and it folds down into the trunk. And it's basically a trunk just big enough to hold the roof. It's a roadster. But, you know, now that I have a car with an actual trunk and space that I can actually carry stuff around in and whatnot, I think this would have been a mistake. But, and it had different wheels than this. I don't know if I can find an exact. I don't see any pictures in the results. 1990s. Let me see if I can find one that had. I would recognize the wheels if I saw them. It looked a lot like. I mean, this is basically it. I mean, it's. I don't know if I have the year exactly right, but that's basically what the car looked like, and it looked beautiful. And it was around, you know, it was in that $5,000 price range, and I could have gone and paid cash for it. And, you know, I did my homework on it, and they're considered to be pretty reliable for what it is. I had a Mini Cooper. I had a 20-year-old Mini Cooper S with a supercharger, BMW era, 2000 and 2003. First generation new Mini Coopers, the last of the first model, which is the most reliable, but it's the one with the supercharger. They changed them all to turbo after that. So if you ever watch the movie The Italian Job, the modern one where where it was basically an ad for Mini Cooper, that was the car that I had. And it was pretty damn reliable for what it was. But it was a 20-year-old car, so there were always things to deal with. But it was like a second car for me. And then it became a third car after I got another vehicle. And then I came to the conclusion I didn't need a third car, so I got rid of it. And it kept its resale. I bought the thing for $5,000, sold it for $4,000. So, I mean, I don't know. Cars are, you know, sometimes I do okay, sometimes I don't. And honestly, it doesn't even have anything to do with how desperate I am either, because I was in a desperate situation, saw a Jeep Cherokee on the side of the road. I was like, let's see it. Bought it. Like completely, like I didn't even know if the car I was driving would have got me home that day. That's how desperate I was. I was like, I need to find a car like right now. And I saw this Jeep Cherokee parked in front of this dealership, pulled in and bought it. They gave me, I forget what they gave me in trade for the Grand Am, but this Grand Am, the transmission was falling apart. It was done. But like, when you're in a situation like someone who went to prison, came home, was homeless for 6 months, and then you've got to find a car, your options aren't going to be the same as like what a regular person would go through. Even a regular person with a shitty job would have an easier time getting a car than me. And so I get like a little bit of a panic when something goes wrong with this car, because I know that I'm in for a bit of a hassle to get a new one. But I also know that a year ago, I couldn't get approved for financing as easy as I can now. And a year from now, maybe that'll get better. I don't know, but it's just, you know, it's an evolution. The comeback is slow, a lot slower than I wish it would be. If I could get a job making the money I used to make, I wouldn't have any problems. I wouldn't have any problems financially at all. I'd be able to buy a house, a car. I'd just be able to get right back on my feet and like nothing happened and just live my life. But that's not in the cards. I've applied to 1,000 jobs, can't even get one. Literally, like I've applied to 1,000 jobs by now. I stopped counting around 750, and that was over a year ago. I've applied to 1,000 fucking jobs. I've been hired at maybe 5. 2 of them making over 6 figures. 3 of them being like, minimum wage grunt jobs at like Target and stuff. Every single one of them were rejected after the background check came back. Had the paperwork in hand. Job was mine. Then they took the job away. So I'm not like getting a job is not something I can do for the rest of my life. They say, oh, you only have to wait 7 years for that to come off your 7 fucking years. I'll be fucking 60 years old. Nobody's going to hire you for anything except to be a Walmart greeter at that point. So I got to do something else. I'm not going to sit around and wait 7 years. Oh, yeah. Then I go and try to get a job doing what I was doing before. And HR is like, well, what's up with this 8, 9, 10-year gap on your resume? Well, I was on vacation. I went on a sabbatical. And now I just want to go back to doing what I love. And if you were if you were here for the beginning of the stream, you know how much I love working for software companies. Honestly, I'd rather cut my dick off with a rusty butter knife than work at a software company ever again, but they pay good. So, but I mean, I would literally rather do that than work at software companies again. It's such a horrible experience. So if I have to struggle and survive and hustle and just basically figure it out as I go for however long it takes, if the long-term result ends up better than where I'd be if I just, had the easy life with the golden handcuffs from corporate America, then I think it'll be worth it. But right now, it doesn't feel good most days. I mean, I have wins and losses. And, I sometimes I just have to sit in the chair and look back a year and say, things are a lot better today than they were a year ago. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. A year ago, I didn't even have a car. A year ago, I was riding a bicycle 25 miles each way, 5 days a week to go to work at a bakery, making $10 an hour. And I'm doing okay now. But I mean, I still have. This week has been a struggle. I'm not going to lie. Yesterday was a bad day. Yesterday started out rough. I had to defend myself. I don't want to get into the details, but I was kind of being attacked, business wise. And I had to stand up for myself, which I have no problem with. I think if you've been a viewer of this channel, I don't just bend over and take it when people, challenge me. I step up. and I won, and I turned the whole thing around, and it came out in my favor, and everybody's happy. And, but it rocked me a little bit because I'm already in a bad mood from Monday, the car problem. Then Tuesday, I wake up to that, and I'm just like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Like, I need a day where I need a day away from it all. Like, I don't trust my car. I keep talking about wanting to go to Galveston Island because there's a state park. They've got campsites right on the beach. I love camping, and I have gone camping one night since I came out of prison, and that was on my way from Jamestown, New York to Houston. One night at National Forest in Mississippi. And it was just because camping's basically, it was like $3 for the campsite. Put money in an envelope, put the envelope in a tube on your way out. And there was a pile of firewood waiting for me there, so it worked out. But that was one night of camping. before this happened, I used to go camping every freaking weekend. I used to live out in the woods when I wasn't required to be at a job. I worked from home, and I was even setting myself up to be able to work from the woods. Like I was getting myself I was going to have a I was working towards having a tent specifically for an office in the woods with a satellite link up, and like literally I was getting ready to go live out in the woods for a month and do my remote job from a campground or a campsite in the national forest. Like I The week before the FBI drove a tank into my house, the weekend before that my son and I went on a 30-mile hike with backpacks through the Allegheny National Forest for 3 days on a 30-mile hike, and he was 12 years old carrying a 30-pound backpack with him. We were like to where, like, if I broke my leg and couldn't go any farther and my son had to go get help, my son would have had to hike 15, 20 miles on his own, navigating with topographical maps and a compass to find another human being and then figure out how to come back and get me at 12 years old. But he's a rugged kid. So I wouldn't have taken him out there to do that kind of shit if he wasn't ready for it, is what I'm getting at. He had been going camping with me since he was 8 months old or something. Well, we took him on his first camp trip before he could walk. So he's comfortable with that. Although he was a little bit, I mean, he did get a little bit scared on that trip because it was like that was pushing his limit. Like there are places I would never take him that we go hiking, like Dolly Sod's Wilderness in West Virginia. No way. There's no way I would take him there. Not until he was like 16, probably. But he did fine on the Allegheny National Forest hikes. I would make him do things. I would make him navigate, make him show me that he knows how to use a map and compass and all that kind of stuff. And like, he was in training. But we were doing that the weekend before I was arrested, living out in the woods like that. The week before that, we were on a 10-day trip to Tennessee, living out of the back of a pickup truck that was turned into a camper, living out in the woods, living out in the wilderness, Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, some national park campgrounds mixed in with some national forest campsites that were free and wildernessy, along with honestly, we were camping at somebody's house, and it was like, honestly, we were living better at the national park campground than at this trashy ass house. But I'm not going to say any more about it than that. But we had to put it this way. We were camping at somebody's house, and we had to dig a hole in the yard and set up the outhouse, the portable outhouse, because it was better to take a dump outside than it was in their place. But we were prepared. Yes, I had a portable outhouse. You unzip a thing, pop it up. It's a big tent. And then I had an incontinence chair that I modified so that you could keep it in a small thing, but then assemble it. And so and this was like better than a toilet at home. It had armrests. So while you're dropping a douche, you got your armrests. It's like an actual throne. And I had a compact folding shovel. You just dig a hole, put the outhouse over the hole, put the throne. They were having motocross races right next to where the outhouse was. So I made the outhouse face the racetrack. And so when I was taking my morning dump, I was watching a motorcycle race. They were going right by in fact, I was a little bit worried because if somebody went over the jump a little and off kilter, I might have gotten hit by a motorcycle while I was trying to drop a deuce. I might have gotten I might have got run over by a 250 or some kid who lost control of his bike or whatever. But yeah, I mean, we were camping. Oh my God, during the year of 2020. For that whole scam, I traveled the whole country. When Joe Biden said, well, I don't want y'all got to stay home, don't go anywhere. I was like, fuck off. Here, hold my beer. Me and my son got in the Jeep and we went on a road trip. We went to like 25 different states. And we were basically, for me, it was like I wanted to take him around and make sure that his childhood wasn't being ruined by these douchebag Democrats. But at the same time, I was going around the country looking for where I'm going to go when the shit gets worse. Exploring all the different states and the different places and the cities and seeing how people were acting and how things were. And I have my places picked out after that experience. But everything east of the Mississippi, we went everywhere east of the Mississippi. We didn't go far out west during that period of time, but all the way from New York, all the way over to Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, all the way down to Florida, all the way east, not to Texas, but like pretty much the whole eastern half of the U.S. We were just driving around for months. But I was also working. It wasn't like it was one trip, it was multiple trips. But like I worked remotely, so I could take my work with me. I had different ways of doing that. And so I could just get in the Jeep. We're disappearing for 3 weeks. Camping, hold up in a hotel, do my work, whatever I had to do to get things done. But now I'm here in Houston, and other than going to a Dave Matthews concert, I have not gone out to have fun more than one time since I got released from prison, and that was to go to that concert. And I talked about that in the video that's about to come out, the wrap up to my 35-day Rise and Grind challenge. I do talk about that in more detail. But I want to go, we were just talking about, I want to go to Galveston Island because there's a state park there with campsites. Obviously, that you probably get a parking spot, a picnic table, a pad for your tent. I don't think there's any trees, but it's right on the beach. If anything, you got to walk over some sand dunes to get to the beach, or the beach is right there. It's hard to see. It looks like it's right there from the satellite photos. Like the beach is right there. And it's out of the main drag. It's quiet. I honestly think that would be the perfect place to just go and relax for a few days, have a campfire, sit by the beach, swim, whatever. Enjoy it. But I don't trust this car. I don't trust this car enough to go on a drive that close. Every time I get in this car and drive somewhere, I feel like it could be the last. And so it's like, I'm kind of like, my fear of what'll happen to this car keeps me from enjoying having it. Other than go to the grocery store, go to the bakery, come home, go to my friend's house. Basically, all the driving that I do is within like a 20 to 30 mile radius of where I live. And I just do what I have to do. And, gas is expensive and everything else, but I think it's like 100 miles, give or take, to go to Galveston to where I would want to go camping. I mean, the car should make it there and back, but if the car broke down at the campsite, my AAA coverage would allow me to get towed back home. I could get towed. I could be 200 miles away and get towed. But the hassle of all that, I don't trust this car. It's bad when you own a car that you don't even trust to go on a 100-mile drive. Like, you're just like, I don't think I could go 100 miles without something catastrophic happening to this car, leaving me stranded somewhere. And maybe I'm wrong. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I did go from December to June without any issues with the car. And then all of a sudden it started kicking back up again. And maybe if I fix it, I could go another 6 months. Or maybe not. I don't know. But the point is basically that the point basically is your options are limited when you're starting from rock bottom. And so with that, we're at about an hour and a half into the stream. So for anybody who's new, I know it's mostly the OGs that come and hang out here on Wednesday nights, but I have to try and keep in mind the people who don't know anything about this or about this channel or what's going on here, whether you're watching the replay. All these things I was supposed to say at the beginning of the stream because supposedly the algorithm would give me a boost if I did, because I guess they pay attention to what you say and then feed out your thumbnail to people who might be interested. But the first 10 minutes of today's stream was botched by technical difficulties. So here's the nutshell. I'll give you the rundown if you're new. The counter of how many people are in the stream changes all the time. I don't really know who's here and who's not, but this is for new people, so bear with me. I was a senior level user experience designer making over six figures at a well-known software company and others. And I was fired from a remote job that was remote for years because I refused the COVID vaccine. And I was pissed. I was fucking pissed. And in August of 2022, after all of this, this has all come to a head, struggling to survive, the FBI raided Donald Trump's house, and I went off on social media. I lost my shit. I said, the tree of liberty needs to be watered with the blood of the FBI. That was one of my posts. And so a few days later, the FBI showed up to my place and drove a tank through my front door, just like they did at Waco. They hogtied me, dragged me off to federal prison. They tortured me for a week. They kept me in a holding cell for 14 months where I didn't even see the sun, the trees, the outside world, until I finally caved in and pled guilty, because going to trial would have been 7 to 10 years in prison for a mean tweet. And so I took the deal and got 2 years, followed by 3 years of federal probation, the last of the 3 I'm currently still serving down here in Houston. When I came home from prison, 2 years in prison for a tweet, the love of my life threw me out into the street, not like a month after I got home. And the government forced me to stay homeless for 5 months, would let me move to where I had support or where somebody would let me have a place to stay. They forced me to stay out on the streets, homeless. I couldn't get hired anywhere. Couldn't get a job at Target, Taco Bell, Ollie's. I was hired at all these places, and then they looked at my criminal record, 2 years in prison for a mean tweet. They took back the job offers. Ever since, like I said earlier, I've landed multiple six-figure job offers only to get kicked to the curb as soon as they run a background check. I've applied to 1,000 jobs. I can't get a job. So eventually I got loud. I got on social media. I started this YouTube channel, and I got loud, and other people rallied to my case and forced the government's hand to finally let me get off the street and go someplace. But my only option was to move thousands of miles away from my kids down to Houston, Texas, where my best friend lives. Him and his family took me in and gave me a place to stay to get on my feet. And so I was able to get a part-time job at a bakery here, because all they did was they didn't ask me hardly any questions. They're like, "You're hired. When can you start?" And I started riding a bicycle 25 miles each way, 200, 300 miles a week, just to keep that job, just to keep some income coming in. And I've also had to build a fledgling freelance digital marketing business and a bunch of other hustles just to survive. And every single day, it's a grind just to survive. And so all these videos, the live streams, everything I do on this channel is to document the rise from rock bottom to wherever this goes. And the point is, I want to prove to people that if you've ever made a mistake, if you've ever landed on rock bottom, you can come back from it. Because I refuse to lay down and take it. Every day of my life, people are trying to put me in the dirt face first and step on me and just bury me in the dirt. And I refuse to lay down and take it. I went to prison for a fucking Twitter post. People rape children and go to jail for 30 days, 90 days for raping. I would have been better off if I raped a child than a Twitter post. So basically, I also want to give you, hopefully, advice and possibly tangible things that you can use, information about different things. And, we're just going to talk about the state of the world and the way things are. And how did this country devolve to the point where they're putting people in prison for a Twitter post at this point? I mean, really, how did we even get there? And so that, um, so I'm kind of like, what do we, my YouTube channel's kind of stalled out for lots of different reasons. Shadow ban. Part of it's my fault because when you do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, they say that's the definition of insanity. And so, what do I do? What do I do? I got to change it up a bit. I got to try out some different things. And so, yeah, social media. JS says social media happened and ruined society. I really couldn't agree more. And they really got us by the balls with the social media too. Um, I was talking earlier today about the enshittification of everything, and there's a video on YouTube. If you go and I don't know the link. I'm not going to look it up right now. I'm kind of scared to run too many apps at once because I don't want the stream to break down again. But what was I going to say? If you look up the enshittification of everything, just like it sounds, this video will come up, and it's a woman, and she's talking about all kinds of things. And it was a very well done video. In fact, I'm going to make my own video about the same topic, but with my own spin on things. But I'm going to use her video as a reference for it. So everything's going to shit. We were talking about software, cars, everything, society, social media. The video specifically talks about how Facebook started out as a place where you could go, give them a little bit of your personal information, and then you could connect with all your friends and find out what all your friends are doing and keep in touch with your family and friends. And grandma and grandpa can get on Facebook and see photos of the grandkids and this and that and the other thing. And that's what is Facebook now? It's just a fucking pile of shit. It's this broken down, unusable hodgepodge of bullshit. When you log in, you never see I have never seen a post from anybody I follow on Facebook ever. It's just a bunch of AI generated garbage, scams, and just bullshit. And a bunch of posts from people you are not interested in, don't want to follow, and don't want anything to do with because you have to pay to see. And for anybody to see what you post on Facebook, you have to pay them for them to show it to even the people that follow you. And so people have abandoned it. It's dead. Facebook is dead. But this whole video talks about how our whole economy depends on companies building themselves up to be a good product, a good service or whatever, and then intentionally making it trash. Because by making it trash, they increase the profitability and make the stock prices go up, which in turn makes everybody's retirement accounts grow. And basically, if the companies do a good job and they provide us actual value, our economy would collapse because our economy is based on lies and bullshit and scams. And the whole, I mean, it was like the way she worded it was perfect. It made me, between the UFC cage fights at the White House coming up and this video talking about the enshittification of everything, I had to rewatch the movie Idiocracy, which I can't even believe is 20 years old. But in the movie Idiocracy, Gatorade, the Brondo Gatorade company, when they stopped watering plants with Gatorade, the whole entire economy collapsed and everybody lost their jobs. You know what I mean? And it's because the whole entire economy was based on bullshit and lies and scams. And that's exactly what our economy is based on now. So if we all complain about the car companies giving us garbage, we complain about the garbage software, we complain about the garbage social media, we complain about everything turning into garbage. Amazon's going down the toilet. Every big company gets too big to care and they all go down the toilet. Private equity comes in, guts it out, ruins it, destroys everything. And we all complain about the pay more, get less. But then you look at your retirement account and it's going up and up and up if that's what it's doing. And if we actually got what we wanted, your retirement account and the value of all your property would go on a rocket ship downhill, and then you would all be rioting outside the White House, shaking the gates, trying to climb over and get to Donald Trump, because we're all starving and the economy is completely destroyed, because our economy is completely built on scams, lies, and bullshit. And without the scams, the lies, and the bullshit, the whole thing collapses. It's the same thing they keep telling us, where if they rounded up all of Jeffrey Epstein's clients, the entire country would be destroyed overnight, because it's basically all of them. The entire Congress, the government, the White House, the Congress, the Senate. We wouldn't have a government left, because they'd all be in jail for being Jeffrey Epstein's customers. And I'm fine with that, by the way. I fuck, do it now. Like, I am rooting for America to burn to the ground. Just so you know, anybody who's new to the channel here, I hate this country and I want to see it burn. And I will be laughing my ass off when it does, because I've already hit rock bottom. If I have to go back, find a nice bridge to live under, set up a tent, get a shopping cart, a bottle of hooch, and some crack, I'll do what I got to do. I'll make it work. I've already been homeless. What are you going to fucking do to a guy who already been there, done that? So yeah, I want to see this country burn to the fucking ground. I want to see everybody else experience what I went through. I'm miserable, and I want everybody else to be miserable with me. So fuck them. I hate that. If this country, if the survival of the United States depends on allowing child molesters to keep raping kids, then this country deserves to fucking burn to the ground. No ashes left unturned. So if that's the case, let it fucking burn. And I am far from alone. I am far from alone. I don't know if California has told you anything about how much your vote matters in the last couple of weeks, but once again, go ahead and keep voting. People keep telling me I'm an idiot because I'll never vote again. You've been watching the news over the last few weeks. You still think your vote means something, do you? Is that you really think it still means something? Go knock yourself out. Go get your little stupid little sticker. I voted. I did something today. I'm a useful idiot. Yeah, that's exactly what they call you. No, I got better shit to do. I'd rather watch reruns of fucking, I don't know what. I'd rather watch reruns of fucking Mama's Family on TBS than go vote. JS says, it was rigged. I unfortunately live in California. I stopped voting in 2020. Me too, brother. That was my last vote, 2020. I'll never vote again. I can't vote. Texas is a state where if I'm a convicted felon, I can't vote. No big fucking whoop there. I don't give a shit about that. Like, oh, gee. like I wanted to waste my time with that bullshit today. I got other things to do. Yeah, voting gets you a jury duty summons. Yeah, I don't. They won't even let me be on a jury ever again because, once again, I'm a convicted felon. They won't let you do that. Because they know if I'm on the jury, I'm just going to be like, I don't give a fuck. Not guilty. Not guilty. Not guilty. Just to be a dick. Although that trial we had here in Houston, the Carmelo Anthony or whatever his name was, probably would have convicted him. But I probably would have convicted him because I would want to see the riots break out. But he was guilty as fuck. So I mean, we all knew that. I would have convicted him. You can't just stab a guy because you get into a fucking argument at the high school track meet. What the fuck, man? But you know, he'll I guess he fucked around and found out, didn't he? He's going to do at least 17 years on his 35-year bid, and they probably won't let him out in 17. He probably won't have good behavior in prison. when they all make fun of people like, oh, he's gonna be, the first thing they always say is, oh, he's gonna be someone's bitch and he's gonna get fucked in the ass and blah blah blah. That's back in the day. And maybe like if you go to a penitentiary where like you're with the worst of the worst and they're all doing life and they're never ever 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 going to see another vagina as long as they live, then you might be in some danger. But there's enough fucking gay dudes in jail. If you want to get your dick sucked in jail, it's probably one of the best places to go, because there's plenty of fucking people who will do it. You don't need to go find somebody to intimidate and to beat up to fuck. There's a bunch of fucking gay dudes running around wanting to get fucked in the ass who would be totally fine with it if that's your thing. I'm just saying it's not my jam, but it's there. I was in Danbury, Connecticut, in the federal prison. Half the fucking prison's full of chomos. Most of them are homos. They were all banging each other. I was friends. I was friendly to everybody. I got along with pretty much everybody there. Once people found out what I went to jail for, everybody wanted to be friends with me. And everybody treated me with respect. And like, if I had molested, if I was a child molester, first of all, when you're a middle-aged white guy and you go to jail, that's the first thing they think. Oh, here comes another chomo. Look at him. He's white. He's middle-aged. Obviously knows how to use a computer. That's the first thing they're coming at you. My lucky day was they put me all over the national news. Fox News, CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, all of it. All the major newspapers. All you got to do is type in my fucking name and you'll see it. And that worked out in my favor when I was in jail and prison, because they're like, look what he did. They were like, oh my God, you're a fucking cool motherfucker, man. Hey, here's an extra milk with your lunch. Here you get the big piece of chicken. And people hooked me up and treated me just fine. I had beef with maybe one or two people the whole time I was in there. And when I had beef with other people, other prisoners stood up for me and was like, you're going to fuck with him, you're going to fuck with all of us. So, because of what I did, I went at the FBI. And they all hate the FBI, so they loved me. And that was just because of what I did. So I didn't have to worry about it. In fact, I went to a new jail once, and they were like, I got shaken down by a bunch of angry inmates thinking I was a chomo until they saw my paperwork, and they're like, holy fuck, dude, here, man, here's a bag of shebangs, here's some of this, here we got your back, man, you want a tablet? Here you go, man. Everybody was cool with me after they fucking read my paperwork. So, and then they're like, oh, then they all come at you with their computer questions and all this and that and the other thing. Like this one dude, here's an example. Here, a guy was, he got a life sentence. He went to jail in 1995. I don't know what he did. Maybe he killed somebody. I don't know his name, so I can't look him up now. But he got his sentence commuted or something like that because he was so old. 1995 to 2024. What is that? 20. So he had been in jail for 29 years. And so he's like coming up to me. He's like, hey man, I'm getting out next week and I need to know about computers and this and that. And I'm like, I'm answering his questions. He was asking me questions and I'm just answering what he asked me. And I don't remember exactly what he was asking me, but then I'm thinking about it and I'm like, this motherfucker hasn't used a computer since 1995 and here it's 2024. Like, how the fuck do you even tell somebody? How do you even prepare for that? How do you even, you remember 1995 and now it's 2024? What were computers then and what was shit now? What was the internet back then? What is it now? It's like, how do you even explain that to somebody? AI. How do you explain that to somebody 29 fucking years behind bars? And yeah, they have some computers in federal prison, the same fucking computer that you had in 1995 running the same fucking software that you had in it probably was Windows 95 that I was to check my fucking prison email and shit. And that's all you could do. You could look at some messages that people paid to send you and vice versa. And you could look at the announcements that they had, like the prison would put announcements on your account. Like you could look at the fucking menu for the chow hall, and like like there was like maybe 4 things you could fucking do, and that was it. And I guarantee you it was the same fucking computer and the same shit you were looking at in 1995. So this dude is going home next week, and I'm like, how do you even prepare for that? And it reminded me of a story that I read. I don't know how to look this up. I could probably, honestly, Grok could probably find it based on what I talk about. And I'm just going to sit here and see. But from what I remember, in fact, can I just have it read? Check. Let me see. Grok. Can you hear me? Oh, microphone access denied. All right, my browser settings aren't going to let me do it. I can type it out, though. There was a guy, I want to say in Philadelphia. All right, so the guy was innocent. I remember that. I just put in some stuff into Grok to see if this would bring, because that's the only way I could even begin to think of finding out who this was and the whole story, because I'd like to be accurate talking about it. He went to prison when he was he might have been 12 years old when he went to prison. And he was 80 years old or so when he came out. And he was in a prison in the outskirts of Philadelphia. Yep, Grok found it. Okay, here it is. It's Joe Ligon, Ligon. He was from Philadelphia, arrested as a 15-year-old in 1953 during a group robbery where 2 people were killed. He was convicted of first-degree murder by association and sentenced to life without parole at 15 years old. He served 68 years and was released in February 2021 at the age of 83. And so I just remember reading his own story and his own account of it, that in 1953, imagine the cars, imagine what the streets were like back then. Everything was simple back then, what the neighborhoods looked like, etc. The city of Philadelphia and the skyline, which was right down, it's not far. Where was the prison? We could look this up because now that I know who it is, but basically he said that it was a culture shock to him coming out at 83 years old. After he went from 15 years old to 83 years old, living in a prison, never seeing the outside world, seeing the same dumbass shit. I mean, there was TVs. He saw some things on TV. But when you come outside, all the cars look like spaceships flying around. Everybody's walking around with a TV screen phone in their hand. All the tall buildings in downtown Philadelphia, none of which were there when he went in. And And he just, okay, so he wasn't exonerated as being innocent of all involvement, but they said that it was a pretty harsh sentence. He would have probably got 5 to 10 years if that had happened in today's world, instead of going in for 68 years. He was released after the Supreme Court rulings on juvenile life sentences made his mandatory life without parole unconstitutional. So, and there was a lot of media coverage when he was released, and that's how I just stumbled upon this and was just listening to his own accounts of what life was like when he came out. JS says it's like Shawshank Redemption. The character Red, when he went out into the world, he couldn't handle it and he hung himself. You know, sorry if that's a spoiler, but if you haven't seen Shawshank Redemption by now, I mean, come on. You deserved it. And I didn't give anything away about the movie, especially the part where he dug a hole in his wall and climbed out through a sewer pipe and escaped. But if you haven't seen that movie by now, then, you know, spoiler alert. That's like everybody's favorite movie in prison. Fuck, dude. They watched Shawshank Redemption at least 500 times in the 600 days I was there. I swear to God. I don't even know how you would break out of a prison these days, but people do. None of the ones that I was in, I could see a way out. I mean, I've thought about writing a book, a fictional book. Part of the book would be an escape from a jail. And in the one jail that I was at, we were all talking about it. Me and a couple other people, as in we, were all talking about it. And we did come up with a plan that might work. But it was really wild. Actually, we had two different plans. I had an idea, and this other guy had an idea. That depended on where you had a job. You either had to be working in the kitchen or the laundry. One of them was laundry based. One of them was kitchen based. And the guards would have to be in on it. Somebody would have to pay a guard. So there would have to be a guard willing to take a bribe to help you out with it. One of them, the guards would have to do more than the other. But even that's a long shot. Even that was a long shot. And but yeah, I mean, the culture shock of just me coming out. The biggest shock to my system, if you will, because I was only gone for 2 years for a tweet. But the biggest thing that I noticed when I came out was the evolution of artificial intelligence and AI. And it's evolved a lot more since the day I came out. But I knew when I came out, when I went in, some of these things were just getting started. And when I came out, the capabilities of some of these things had gone really far. And I was like, wow. I was kind of shocked by the level of some of it, at how much it had progressed in the time I was gone. But there really wasn't anything else to be shocked about because it was 2 years. And it's not like things moved that much in 2 years, but that one thing did. And just the state, the de-evolution of America itself from 2016 to today is so incredibly radical that it's so obnoxious that I can't even really make sense of it. And nothing surprises me. And I've had a tinfoil hat since the mid-1990s. So I've seen it all. And I know the whole thing's a scam. And I know how bad things are on a deep level. And I'm still kind of shocked by how far downhill it's gone. And it started in 2016 with that election. The Hillary and Trump election was the beginning of the end. And because I remember before 2016, I got along with everybody. Everybody. Whether you were political or not, Democrat, Republican, didn't give a shit. You were wide awake, knew that they were both a scam. all four of the political types that we talk about on this show. I got along with everybody. I had friends from all walks of life and all different beliefs and didn't give a shit, gay, straight, you know, what they didn't have all these, they didn't have 53 genders back then. They still had two. There was no they, thems. There was none of that crap. But I got along with everybody. And then came Hillary and Trump. And that's people started to kind of separate a little bit. And in 2017, after Trump was, I noticed a big change. People starting to hate each other a lot more. And sometime in 2017, I actually got off of social media, and I was trying to start a photography business. And my dumbass decided to ditch all social media completely and still try to sell my photography without social media. Yeah, good luck. And I was stubborn, but I didn't like the way things were going. And so things just kept going downhill. And in 2018, I joined Gab. I didn't even know what Gab was until that synagogue shooting. And there's a lot of synchronicities with that, with my case, etc. It's hard to explain without a long-winded discussion. We're 2 hours into this. It might be a topic for another show. But the short version was they tried to pin the whole shooting on the social media platform Gab. And like I said, I'd never heard of it. Because they called him the Jew killer. I was in prison with him. I had a cell right next to him. So that's part of the synchronicity. I had to make this guy dinner. I had to make special meals for I had to make meals when I worked in the prison kitchen. I cooked for the cops. And I had to make special meals for the Jew killer. That was what they called him. The guards called him that. All the inmates called him that. That was his name in prison, the Jew killer. Or in jail, before he went to prison, when he was still waiting for his trial. When he got the death sentence, they were giving him special meals, basically anything he wanted, within reason, because they were just trying to keep him from killing himself until they could get rid of him and have the federal government come and take him to Indiana to Terre Haute, where the death row is for the federal inmates. And so, long before I was cooking the Jew killer special meals in jail, and long before I had a jail cell right next to his, because they wanted to make a point. They put me in a cell next to him on purpose because they were trying to paint me as just as much of a cold-blooded killer as him. He killed 11 people. I posted a mean tweet. There's a little bit of a difference there, but the media was trying to make it seem like there was no difference between me and him. Put me in the jail cell right next to the fucking guy. And so long before all of that, 2018, this guy went and shot up a synagogue and he killed 11 people. And they tried to blame it on the social media site. And I'm like, huh? They just had there was a mass shooting in New Zealand that was live streamed on Facebook. Live stream. And they didn't shut down Facebook over that. But this guy posted a bunch of anti-Semitic tweets that were pretty bad. I mean, I don't like Israel very much, but this was a whole nother level of hate. And I don't hate Jewish people. I hate Israel. It's a big difference. This guy hated the Jews. I mean, no doubt about that. And Gab was the home for those people because you'd get kicked off of any other platform for that. So they tried to shut down the social media site over that. And so I signed up and I'm like, the fuck's this all about? And it's not all full of fucking Ku Klux Klan members and Jew haters. It's a social media platform. It's got everybody on it, all walks of life. But they wouldn't censor people or They wouldn't kick you off the platform if you were a bigot. So there were bigots and racist people on there. And but I actually got to know the CEO of Gab. His name's Andrew Torba. He lived in Pennsylvania. I reached out to him a couple times. I started working for him. Long story short, I started. I mean, he was a client of mine. I was helping them rebuild the front end of their website. I did some user experience design and front end software development for them for about 6 to 8 months. And the only reason we parted ways is because he got debanked. You know, the banking industry, they can shut your bank accounts off if they don't like your politics now. And that's what they did to him and his whole family. And so he was having a hard time. He had like, it was too unstable for me. I needed more stability, and it was a fun experience. It was a good experience, et cetera, et cetera. But I kept my Gab account active after the experience. And, but I progressively got more angry, especially after I lost my job. So the job that I went to work for after I was done working for Gab, I had that job for a few years, and then they fired me for not taking a COVID vaccine. And it was a remote job where I worked from home. Why do I got to take this fucking vaccine when I work from home? And they fired me over that. And I lost my mind. And I'd already been going downhill mentally because of all the bullshit with the whole COVID scam 2020 and everything involved with that. And I was doing everything I could to keep my head clear and to do things and to have fun and enjoy life and to be prepared for the civil war that's unfolding in front of us at the time and still is. It's kind of on pause right now, but it's there. It's waiting to happen. And when they raided Donald Trump's house, I just went on a tirade. And somehow putting words out on the internet got me 2 years in prison. Twitter posts. They weren't Twitter. It was on Gab. But nobody knows what Gab is. So it's kind of like when you say you're from New York and everybody assumes that you're from New York City. Like anybody I talk to down in Texas, if I'm like, yeah, I came down here from New York. Oh, yeah, Manhattan. I've been to Manhattan. I went to this Knicks game at Madison Square Garden. No, I was New York State. It's a whole... That's like saying you're from Texas and then everybody assumes that you're from Dallas. It's like Texas is a big fucking state. It's not just Dallas. New York, it's the same thing. There's this city, it's called New York City, and then there's this whole big fucking state. But when you tell anybody who's not from New York State that you're from New York, they assume New York City. So sometimes you got to say Buffalo. And I'm not from Buffalo, I'm from Rochester. But nobody knows fucking Rochester, New York. Most people know Buffalo because Buffalo Bills. If you talk about sports ball, if they can relate it, if the average sheep, if you can relate it to a sports ball team, then they'll be like, oh yeah, I know Buffalo Bills, Buffalo Sabres, Buffalo Bills, Buffalo Sabres. I know that. They might not even know that Buffalo is in New York. They just know that Buffalo is sports ball and you're from Buffalo. And so I might say I'm from Buffalo, but I'm not. In fact, I never went to fucking Buffalo. Buffalo's a dump. If you lived in Rochester and Buffalo or in between, pretty much you'd always go to Rochester because they're both dumps. But Buffalo's a bigger dump. Buffalo sucks. Rochester sucks, but Buffalo really sucks. Rochester kind of sucks. Rottenchester. I mean, we call it Rottenchester. So, for a reason. They both suck. But if you have the choice, I grew up in between in a town called Clarendon. Clarendon, New York. Look it up. You'll find out exactly where I lived. But right in between Rochester and Buffalo, almost equal distance between the two cities. Nobody I know would ever go to Buffalo for anything. If you had to go to the city for city things, you go to Rochester. Everybody knows that up there. Buffalo fucking sucks. But when I'm talking to people down here in Houston, I got to say I'm from Buffalo Pittsburgh, I can also say I'm from Pittsburgh because technically I lived there for 25 years. I lived in Pittsburgh longer than I lived in New York. So I'm more from Pittsburgh now but I grew up in Western New York. But I feel like I'm more from Pittsburgh than New York. But either way, you can't say I got in trouble for social media posts on Gab without getting the 1,000-yard fluoride stare of, huh? What's that? But if I say I went to prison for a tweet, oh, what? They know exactly what you meant. So it's the same. That's why I word it the way I do. It's about communication. It's about, when we say they, them, not they, them, the retarded liberals, they, them with the pronouns. But when we talk about they or them, when it comes to your tinfoil hat and your conspiracy theories, it's a lot easier to just say they and them than every single time I reference them, do I have to say they satanic, baby-eating, child-molesting scumbags that rule the world? Or can I just say them or they? It's a lot. I mean, it's an abbreviation. It's a lot easier to reference them as them. How long would it take me to get through a sentence if I had to keep saying over and over the billionaire, satanic, child-eating kid diddlers that run our society and rule the world? Every time I talk about them, that shit's going to be a long conversation and we're not going to get anywhere. So that's part of the reason why they bastardized our language to make they, them sound like you're retarded when you say it. It's the same technique they used when they came up with the term conspiracy theory, because there's a conspiracy, and it's not a theory, it's a fact. They blew JFK's head off in front of a whole crowd and put it on film. We've all seen it. We know it wasn't a guy up in a fucking 6-story building with a shitty rifle. The back of JFK's head blew off, not the front. He got shot from the front. I mean, it's right in front of your fucking face. So it's not a theory, it's a fact, and it was a conspiracy. But that's what they basically they invented the term conspiracy theory to make anybody who questions the official story about things like JFK, 9/11, et cetera, to seem like you're insane. But now we're in the day and age where something shifted after the COVID scam to where now nobody calls me a conspiracy theorist anymore. Nobody argues with me. Nobody tells me I'm wrong. Nobody tells me I'm making shit up, that I'm just a Looney Tune. Now they all know it's true. They've seen enough of this shit proven true that now the guy with the tinfoil hat's the one you go and ask what's going on? And I'm like, you know what? I don't fucking know what's going on anymore because I don't give a fuck. And the only news that I pay attention to anymore comes from memes and the Babylon Bee. That's the only two things I pay attention to anymore. I don't give a shit. Somehow I still know what's going on, which is kind of funny because all you need to do is look at the Babylon Bee and look at the memes of the week, and you'll know everything that's going on. You don't got to watch the news at all. I know everything that's happening. I'm up to date on current events, and I kid you not, I do not read the fucking news at all. Memes and the Babylon Bee. And once in a long, long while, once in a very, 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 very long while, I might listen to an Alex Jones rant. Sometime, and I watch a lot of YouTube people too. Richie from Boston comes to mind. Prepper Nurse 1 or the 2, because they talk about what's going on. But I don't watch these people every day. I don't watch all their videos. There's nobody out there whose videos I watch religiously or see everything they do. I just, I'm going through the feed. I'm like, oh, that sounds good. I'll watch that. So that kind of, I do appreciate the people that show up with the OGs and everybody who comes to the party. Because I know I don't have it in me to be that dedicated to anybody I pay attention to. And with that said, I'm going to take a time out here and just give a shout out to all the channel members, all the OGs that decided to become channel members. We got Angels in Our Midst. I haven't heard from her in a minute. Blue Sky is in the house tonight. Oddball, Keyrod 1000, Alex and Analog, and Jared Smith. The illustrious club that are the channel members. And if you want to be a channel member, I mean, you don't got to be a high roller. All you got to do is click that subscribe button, and right next to that button it says join. Right there. Right there. If you need it to be pointed out, you click that join button, you go through the thing, and let me see here. Well, I can't join my own channel, so I'd have to. I'm not prepared for this, but you go through a thing, and there's like 2 levels to join. We've got the awesome channel members club. It's like $2 a month. I mean, what else are you gonna get? You can't even get, I think, a blowjob at a truck stop's at least $20 now. I don't know, but what are you gonna get for $2? You can't even get a coffee for $2 unless it's terrible coffee. So yeah, I mean, $2 a month. But I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really done a lot of members only stuff. But now that I'm talking about that, we got a couple of channel members here in the crowd tonight. So one of the things I was thinking of, either at the 2-hour mark or the 3-hour mark of the live stream nights, one thing that I can do easily, except I don't really know how to do it right now. I'm trying to find it in the interface. I don't even know how to do it. So I'd have to look into it. But I know it can be done. We can switch the stream to be members only after, like, whatever time, 2 hours, and then do another hour for just the OGs and the members. And we do have the regular members, and then we have the High Rollers Club that's like $10 a month. But right now, I'm like, the only reason I even turned on channel memberships is because YouTube gave me a bonus for doing it. YouTube paid me to do it. I wasn't planning on doing it. But now that I did, we do have a Discord server where a lot of you keep in touch with each other and you chat it up and all of that. And I don't even join it as much as I should. I've been too busy shit posting on X and trying to build a following on X. That's where my digital smoke breaks that I take during the day all go to shit posting on X right now. So unfortunately, I don't. If you want to see the latest hot memes, talking about memes randomly, if you look at the link that's pinned in, hold on a second. I am going to pull this up on my web browser. We talked about this last week, but I got some of the things ironed out. It's not perfect, but is it going to load up, first of all? All right, if you click on that link that's pinned in the chat, invite.memeteam6.org, it will take you. I can't even show you these memes. Fuck. YouTube will get me in trouble. I got all the naked chicks of Melania Trump are in the meme collection now, in case you need them, but they're front and center. and YouTube will probably give me a whack for showing. I gotta change it. Here we go. They'll pick the Trump collection. Oh, can't do that. MAGA. There we go. All right. Blue Sky says she's the only one in the Discord and it's lonely over there. So with that said, if you are a channel member or you're watching the replay, I should talk about this stuff in the beginning of the stream next week, and I'll try to remember to do that. If you can't get into the Discord server, I can get you in. I know how to do that. I know how to tie it to your YouTube account now and all that stuff too. But one way or another, you can get in. The OGs that got in, I just let you guys in, so it's not tied to your YouTube account. But there is a way that you do it. I don't remember the exact details, but I know how to. I know I can go back to my notes and tell you what's up. So if anybody wants to get in there and hang out, if we have more channel members, it would be a better experience. I don't like the Discord app. It has nothing to do with anybody here. I don't like the Discord app itself. So I'm a member of a bunch of Discord groups, and I never go into any of it for anything. I look at Discord like I look at Reddit. I almost never go. And it's not even because of Discord's not necessarily a bunch of leftists, because anybody can set up a Discord server for anything they want within reason. But I don't like the app itself, and I don't like like if I open up the app on my Mac, if the desktop app, there'll be like 25 to 30 updates. And then if I run all the updates and then open the app and quit the app, 4 hours later, you open up the app, it'll say there's 15 new updates. And like that's right off the bat, that drives me nuts. But I don't hate, it's a kind of like a love-hate thing. I like the interface, and I like the post format's not bad. There are definitely things I could put up there. But when we start, I've just been so scatterbrained lately and pulled in so many directions. I just kind of don't. The weeks are going by so fast, and it's not like I'm being lazy and not doing anything. I just like. I spent an hour posting memes on X today, but anyway, Meme Team 6. If you go to this invite, like if you want to be part of if you want to be able to pull memes from the Meme Team 6 headquarters database, you click on that link below. It's going to take you to an app called Airtable. You sign up for a free account. It doesn't cost anything. It's kind of a pain in the ass to sign up for it. But when you sign up for it, you will have access to this whole database. There's an interface that you see here with a bunch of pre-formatted, you got Bill Gates memes. So every now and then I'll be posting categories on the left-hand side. Here's a bunch of vaccine memes, et cetera, et cetera. But you can also go to, I can't go to these ones right now because of the ones that show up. And YouTube will give me a strike because Melania Trump showed up in the mix, and all of her naked pictures are up there. So, and we got everything on here. We got the I hate Trump memes. I hate Joe Biden. If you hate anybody in this government, there's a meme for it. I think we're up to 5,000 memes now. But there's also a database side of it. And so like if you're on X and you want to start shit posting and you want to pull the memes up here, I don't have time to add keywords to all of them. In fact, probably 1/6 of all the memes in the database have keywords with them now. But like say you need a MAGA hat meme, all you do is you open it up and then you go copy image, and then you go to your Facebook, you go to your social media post and you hit paste, and boom, you got your meme, and you can drop it in. And you saw like a couple of weeks ago, I was shit posting live here on the live stream, and I was just bang, 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 bang. I had a day, a couple of like within, I think it was Saturday, last Saturday, I got 230,000 impressions in a single day by shit posting on X, because a couple of the memes were bangers and they took off. I'm closing in on 1,000 subscribers. Let's see, where am I at right now? If you go to x.com/litgood, right? Yeah, here we are. Screen share, litgood, 966 followers. So it's only going to be about another month at the most, maybe less, before I have more followers on X than I have on YouTube. And YouTube, I've gone 18 months without getting a single new follower. Not even one. And I'm getting like 100 a week on X now. And so, return of the check engine light. My car 10 minutes after I fix whatever's wrong with it. So if you're on X, put your handle here in the chat so I can follow you, because I want to follow all my homies from the channel, of course. But, needless to say, when you're on X, like I was saying, the only people that, well, let's go and see if I'm wrong. But the only people that you ever see on your home tab are Gunther Eagleman, right? Exactly. Oh, Sassafras 84. She's a piece of work. Gunther Eagleman, imagine that. Kentucky girl, she shows up all the time. Oh, here's the cage fights at the White House. In fact, I need that. That's a good shot. Goes into the meme patrol folder, and then that gets put up to the database once a week. I put 1,000 memes in the database this week. That looks like a good one for the meme database. Add that. All right. Oh, Gunther Eagleman again. Imagine that. Oh, that's a different Batman than I've had before. Put that away. It's like a meme buffet. They are showing me a lot more memes now. Oh, Trump's campaign promises, Trump's presidency. I like that. So all of these will eventually, probably next week, will be in the meme database. But memeteam6.org. But if you want to join, you've got to hit that invite link, invite.memeteam6.org. And that will automatically subscribe you to the database when you sign up through that link. And I think I get $10 off my bill, or towards my account. I basically could keep my database up for free if like 2 people a month joined Meme Team 6. But that's not why I'm promoting it. I don't give a shit if anybody joins. But if it's just fun. It's just fun. And I'm not putting it for channel members only. I mean, I could do that too. But I just want everybody to be able to have a good time. If I could do it if I could make people members of Meme Team 6 with the ability to edit the keywords and upload memes to contribute to the database, I would totally do it, but I would have to pay for every person that has access that's not read-only. So that's a drawback. That's a limitation of the platform I built this with. If I want to grow this, and if it gets it's already, the Airtable app is already starting to flake out on me, and I'm having issues with it. And there are problems and bugs like all software. I may explore setting up a self-hosted thing on a LAMP stack, which is Linux, Apache, PHP, and a MySQL database. But there are pre-built image gallery photography management platforms that are basically on the same the same technology stack that WordPress runs with, but it's not WordPress based. It's its own thing. But I could install one of those on a web server that I host, and on my own web server, and configure it and set it up and give it a run. And I've tested a couple of them with their demo sites. And if I did that, then I would be able to invite anybody to Meme Team 6, and you would all be able to upload your own memes and keyword them and et cetera, et cetera. But then now I've got to be the policeman, and I've got to make sure nobody, naked pictures of Melania Trump or the Lauren Boebert in her bikini and whatever, those are all up there. The whore, what's her, Anna Paulina Luma or whatever, like that whore in a bikini, the MAGA whore, like they're all up there. But someone's going to start uploading fucking child pornography and shit like that if it's a free for all. I'm not saying anybody here, but like if the invite just went to everywhere and everybody could upload to it freely, then I got to be the fucking policeman, making sure nobody uploads anything bad. Like even that I would consider bad, which is, not much, but it's definitely, there's things I would not want showing up in there. And I've also got to be tech support. So if anything breaks, I got to fix it. If anybody's got a problem, I got to fix it. But that might be the direction I have to go, because this started out as an Adobe Lightroom photo gallery, but then Lightroom started bugging out where the keywords didn't work anymore. I gave all the memes keywords, and then you would search for the keywords, and you would search for the keywords and the images wouldn't pop up. And I'm like, what the F? And so I knew Notion has a no-code database system, but it wasn't going to be robust enough for this. And then Airtable came along, and I'm like, The one good thing about Airtable is I can take a folder with 1,000 memes and I can drag and drop them to an Airtable window, and it just goes boom, and it drops them all in the database and gives them all a database field, and just it creates a database entry for each one with the image gallery and everything automatically. From there, I have to manually go and give them all keywords. It's not hard, but I mean, how much time in the day do I got to sit here and put keywords on 1,000 memes? I don't. So it's just whatever happens kind of a thing. It's just, it's a work in progress. It's never going to be done. But if I got an hour to just screw around, a digital smoke break is what I call it, during the day, then if I've got time to just screw around, then that I can do that, and it's actually making my X account grow. So I can actually get paid for this. I'm about 1/5. I've got 120 blue checkmark subscribers. I need 500 of those, and in a rolling 90-day period, I need 5 million views in every rolling 90-day period to keep monetized. So I haven't reached monetization status yet, but it's the way it's moving. I would say within a year, at the current pace of growth, and it's actually growing. It's like watching a plant grow. It's not happening fast, but you walk away for a few weeks and all of a sudden there's a bunch of new leaves, and it's got another shoot going this way and another one going that way. I just had to repot a couple of plants today because they outgrew their pots. So, I mean, plants do grow, but they just grow slow. YouTube's not growing at all. I don't know if I ever will. I might go 10 more years and never get another subscriber on this channel. And aside from that, Facebook, Hipstergram, all that crap, that's a waste of time. I might be able to do something with TikTok and Instagram, but it's going to be retarded ass short attention span stuff, of which I can do. It's just I don't got time for that right now. I don't got time to do. If I showed you my to-do list that's growing, it's like it stresses me out. It's helping me keep up with things in one way, but then in another way, it's like showing me how impossible life is these days. And it's, it is for everybody. And so I think that's a great time to switch subjects here. I know Blue Sky's still in the house, and this is your favorite time of day when we get into, what would Jesus say if he were with us tonight, which he's always with us. But if he had something to say to you today, what would Jesus want to talk about? And so I grabbed the book Jesus Calling yesterday, and I pulled out the entry because I was having a day yesterday. And I figured since I did that, I may as well just pull out yesterday and put it. And then I was like, I'll grab tomorrow's entry as well, so that during the live stream we can talk about both. And so yesterday, Sarah Young, a lot of people have a problem with this book, and it's just another example of it does not matter what you talk about or what you do, someone's going to come and shit in the punch bowl. There's always going to be a troll. People got a problem with Sarah Young's book, Jesus Calling, because they get mad and all butthurt because these aren't the words that Jesus said in the Bible. And it's like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. That's what she says in the beginning of the fucking book. If you'd look at the book, she even says, this is what I think Jesus would say if he could talk to us today based on things that are in the Bible. So, yeah. So, according to her, but this is what Jesus might have had to say to us yesterday. And when I read this book, you only got to read one page a day. And I don't even read one page a day. I read it like 2-3 times a week, maybe right now. But I've been reading this book since like 2022. 2023 probably. And so I've been reading this book for like 3 years. Eventually I can say I read the whole damn thing. But I'm assuming that after 5 years I will have read each day of the book once. So June 9th, the book says, "Seek to live in my love, which covers a multitude of sins, both yours and others. Wear my love like a cloak of light, covering you from head to toe. Have no fear, for perfect love decimates fear. Look at other people through lenses of love. See them from my perspective. This is how you walk in the light, and it pleases me. I want my body of believers to be radiant with the light of my presence. How I grieve when pockets of darkness increasingly dim the love light. Return to me, your first love. Gaze at me in the splendor of holiness, and my love will once again envelop you in light." And so the thing that stood out to me the most was right here. Have no fear, for perfect love decimates fear. That was the one sentence. There's always like one sentence that sticks right out to me when I read this book. And have no fear is what stood out to me yesterday, because I was having fear. We got issues with that car that I don't know what's going on, and what stress am I going to be. I'm already anticipating the problems that's going to bring into my life, even if they're not here yet. And I just got done talking the last 2 weeks about not doing that, and here I am doing it. Direct phrases like "do not be afraid" or things of "do not fear" are they're in the Bible directly at least 70 times in the Bible. If you did a search for "do not be afraid," "fear not," 70 to 75 times the phrase "fear not." So you can get there's between 150 to 300 references in the Old and New Testament in the Bible where God himself and Jesus are constantly telling you, do not be afraid, do not fear, fear not, do not fear, do not be afraid. Because if you truly trust God and you trust that God's got your back, and that at the end of all of this shit show that we're living in this world, there's something better for us, then what is there to be afraid of? There really isn't. But it's easier said than done, because we remember Jesus at the Garden of Gethsemane when he was praying to have the cup taken away from him if it was his Father's will to do so, because he knew what was about to happen to him the next day. They said in the Bible he was sweating blood. That's some fear. Don't tell me Jesus wasn't afraid. Why the fuck was he sweating blood? Have you ever been so afraid of something that's about to happen to you that blood comes out of your pores instead of sweat? Don't tell me that he wasn't afraid. But through the prayer and through the trust that he had in the Father, he knew that, yeah, tomorrow's going to suck, but then it all gets better. And then after tomorrow, everything's all good. You got to put up with one day of having nails driven through your arms and legs and hung up on a board to die. Yeah, that sucks. The crown of thorns, the whipping, the scourging. We're going to set a murderer free. He comes out to the crowd of Jews and they're like, set Barabbas free, the murderer, child molester, murderer goes free. Hang Jesus up on, fuck Jesus, because all he did was heal the sick and feed 4,000 people with a fish and a loaf of bread, and he, raised people from the dead and made the blind see, and made the lame walk, and helped a bunch of fishermen catch a bunch of fish when there were no fish, made the winds die down and the storms stop out on the Sea of Galilee. That's all he did. Yeah, hang him up to die. Let the child molester and the murderer go free. So, yeah, I'm going to stop right there. But the Bible's constantly telling you not to be afraid. And when I read yesterday's entry, it actually kind of helped me just back off and not be worried about stuff. Like, I do get worked up, I do get angry about some things. And then I'm just like, you know what? It's not even worth it. Um and so we jumped over to today. And I read this yesterday. I'm not supposed to do that, but I did. And because I had to put the slides together for the show today. So yesterday or today's entry: rest in me, my child. Give your mind a break from planning and trying to anticipate what will happen. Pray continually, asking my spirit to take charge of the details of this day. Remember that you are on a journey with me. When you try to peer into the future and plan for every possibility, you ignore your constant companion, who sustains you moment by moment. As you gaze anxiously into the distance, you don't even feel the strong grip of my hand holding yours. How foolish you are, my child. Remembrance of me is a daily discipline. Never lose sight of my presence with you. This will keep you resting in me all day, every day. And so the sentence that stood out to me, it applied to tonight. Give your mind a break from planning and trying to anticipate what will happen. I planned this show out. I took notes. I knew the structure and what I wanted to say when the stream began and everything. I planned and I anticipated, and then I turned on, and then 3 minutes before the stream started, my computer took a dump. It started with beach ball spinning around in Firefox, and the whole computer locked up, and the video feed went dead, and everything died. And I had to reboot the Mac 3 minutes before the show started. I start the computer back up. Everything's just flaking out, and everything's a mess. Nothing's working. I join the stream. I start motherfuckering. I get mad. I bang my fist on the desk. I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to quit. Blah, blah, blah. I'm in a pissed off mood. Nothing's going according to plan. So I shut everything down again, pulled it all back up, took a deep breath, was like, all right, let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. Now we're back to winging it. Give your mind a break from planning and trying to anticipate what will happen. Well, here we are. We're like 2 3/4 hours through the stream, and it's been pretty chill. We've been having a good time tonight. The only thing I was really trying to do was change the beginning of the live stream, because YouTube told me that they base the number of impressions that they dish out to get people to come to the stream based on what you talk about right away in the first 5 minutes of the stream. And so instead of like small talk and just, sitting around the campfire waiting for everybody to show up, I was just going to jump into some stuff and say things that the algorithm would pick up on, and then start feeding it would start building impression counts. I had a plan. And I was trying to anticipate what will happen. But that applies to my whole week, to be honest. The whole week's been like that for me. I'm doing work for a client. He's got a blog on a platform called Substack. In fact, I can't even log into it. Well, can I? Or is that going to be a pain? Let me see if give me a second. Oh, of course. I might be able to log into this thing. Oh, I just got $10 in credit from Airtable. Oh, that was from Carlos Espinoza. Or yeah, you were the one that joined Meme Team 6. So click that link, sign up. I don't get cash money, but my bill is like $20 a month from Airtable. But if 2 people a month join Meme Team 6, then my Airtable account's basically free. So I'm not plugging it either. I think that the platform's kind of a mess. I'm right now, I'm giving it like a 3 or a 4 out of 10. Anyway, I got to look for the verification code, and I got to manually 9. What was the rest of it? Okay, now I can go to here. Just bear with me for a second, because I'm going to show you something. So my client that I'm helping, he's got a blog. And I helped him put a blog. I helped him edit one of his. He's starting to get more serious about it. So I've started helping him edit his blog posts. And so all this talk about fear and everything. So the blog post that hasn't posted yet, here's the title of it: Control by Fear, the oldest trick in the book. And he's talking about how suppressed ancient teachings and newly decoded scrolls reveal the electrical circuit of love that fear tried to hide. And in fact, I just see that I've got to fix that. There's something there for me to fix. But he's talking about how control by fear is the oldest trick in the book, and how the people in charge try to use fear to control the masses. And, he's saying that, people aren't weak cowards. People are seeking certainty, even if it's false, when their life feels unstable. And it amplifies the authority figures, because the nervous system looks for something solid when everything inside is shaking. And a lot of people who live in fear, they're just looking for something to cling on. It's like a little kid drowning in a lake. They're going to cling to if they can find anything to grab onto to help them float, even if it means drowning the person that came to rescue them. Like, that's what they're doing. So anyway, the whole thing, I'm down to about here. I've got to edit. I'm doing text edits for this. His last, if you want to join him on Substack, it's changepoint.substack.com. And this is his latest blog post, view post. So if you go to changepoint.substack.com, you can read the stuff that he's writing. And this one here is the latest one that I'm actually helping him with this now. And I basically spent the weekend trying to figure out how to automatically pull his Substack posts into his WordPress website. And it was a big mess. Everything that I tried, or every system that I looked into, but it's because Substack's a broken piece of trash, WordPress is a broken piece of trash, and the plugins that were created to synchronize Substack with WordPress are trash as well. So when you combine garbage with garbage with garbage, and you expect to get anything but trash, those are unrealistic expectations. And so, unfortunately, but I'm cleaning up his Substack, so his posts will look a lot more professional from here out. Better optimization for search engines, better graphics, better images, better photos, better design, a little bit more professional in the footers. And I'm just going to have to manually copy and paste all of these blog posts to his website. Manually. Because when I looked at all the automated ways of doing it, they were going to cause me 10 times more problems and take more time to do it, and to deal with all the bugs and nonsense that that would come about from doing it that way. The conclusion was, I guess we're just going to have to copy and paste them by hand. It just sucks, but that's how. So I'm basically building out a repeat of all of this content on his website at kurtbjohnson.com. And I've got other websites to work on. I've got so much crap to do, and I'm not mad about it. I'm grateful to be doing all this work. But like, my biggest, I don't know what the word is. I'm just nervous a lot. And I also just have, like, fear, fear. I mean, it's a low level fear, but I've definitely just got a lot of anxiety left over from trying to rebuild a life from hitting rock bottom. Because I was like 47 years old when this happened, I think. Something like that. I was towards the end of my career and I was finally making good money, well over six figures, and things were just starting to roll. And things were finally, honestly, for the first time in my life, things were really going well. Up until then, I had been struggling for years, but slowly building something good. And I finally, like, quote unquote, made it. Finally. And then, like, 4 months later, it's all in the toilet. And I'm like, I was in better shape when I was 21 years old, a broke ass art student, couldn't even afford to eat fucking ramen noodles, than I am right now. Because, you know, I'm at the end of my useful existence as far as human resources is concerned, combined with a criminal record that won't go away until I'm almost 60. Like, I'm the guy, not quite, but, you know, sometimes I feel like a light version of the guy we were just talking about who went to prison when he was 15 years old and was released when he was 83. Like, how do you even that Caramello, whatever his name is, that dude that stabbed the kid down here in Houston, he's gonna have a better time putting his life together when he gets out of prison, if he serves his full sentence. He'll be getting out when he's like 53 years old. He'll be 3 years older than me, but he won't have any time in the actual world under his belt. And the only experience he's going to have is hustling in jail for 35 years. So, you know, good luck when you get out. I mean, I really don't wish him good luck because, you know, of what he did and whatnot. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. That's what happens when you stab people. But honestly, it wouldn't have fucking surprised me if he got less time in jail than I did for a mean tweet. But, you know, sometimes, I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense. The whole justice system is so corrupt. You know, we look at that dude in England, the one that got stabbed, and so they handcuffed the dude that got stabbed and let him bleed out on the ground because he was they thought he was a racist. Like, and the dude that did the stabbing, has he even been arrested yet? I can't fucking do it anymore, man. This world is too much. It's too fucking gone. And to be honest, the only thing I really want to do is buy a piece of land out in the middle of nowhere, put a fucking trailer or something. Like, if this thing that I'm living in right now, if I could just move it, plop it on or something just like it on a piece of land somewhere, I'd disappear. You'd still see me on the internet. I'd make sure I have some sort of internet connection, Starlink or whatever I need to do. But other than that, I'm done. I'm done. I don't like going out in the world anymore and being around actual people. So we don't have a justice system. What we have is a legal system, according to JS. It's not even that. It's how deep are your pockets and how much is in your bank account. It's just us. That's not justice. It's just us, and us are the people with the deep pockets and the big bank accounts. That's why the FBI doesn't arrest anybody who's rich. You notice that? Like the FBI, if you follow them on X, oh, we just busted a child molester. Yeah, a broke-ass child molester living in a fucking trailer park who can't afford a fucking lawyer because a lawyer for a federal case starts at $100,000. How about the Jeffrey Epstein clients? Have you arrested any of them? No. Why? Because they can afford to stay out of jail. They can buy their way out. And that's what's going on. I mean, plain and simple, that's the easiest way to describe it. It's blackmail, deep pockets. You charge these billionaires with raping kids, and they'll buy their way to freedom. They'll they'll pave their way right out the door. They almost, I mean, every now and then a token millionaire goes to jail. Bill Cosby, OJ. But remember, OJ got away with killing his wife, and they let it. He bought his way to freedom. He paid to get away with killing his wife, and they let him get away with it. Then he went and fucking robbed a casino, and they're like, "All right, you fucking piece of shit, you're going to jail now. Like you don't get to. We're not letting you get away with this one." Now, and motherfucker, he must have thought he was hot shit. It's like motherfucker hasn't ran for a touchdown in 30 fucking years, and he got away with killing his wife. You think that maybe he would have been smart enough to know that he's walking on thin ice now? But no, I'm just going to go rob a fucking casino. I need 75 grand. I need 75 grand. Fuck, dude. Everybody in this room needs 75 grand, Muskegee land. You're far. Join the club. Go be a federal attorney. You'll get $75,000 for 15 minutes of work if you're a federal defender. It would have cost me $50,000 up front to get a fucking lawyer to come talk to me in jail. Probably would have been $100,000 just to get a plea deal from a lawyer that I pay for. Going to trial, $2 million. And as soon as you run out of money, off to the public defender you go. And that's that. The public defender gets a paycheck from the same government that pays the judge, that pays the prosecutor, and pays the public defender. All three of their paychecks look exactly the same, have the same graphics, the same logos, the same everything, the same fucking signature on the pay line. And you think that they're working for you. They're not. They're not. So, I wish I could I wish I could get a federal grant for something. That's what I want to get my money back that the federal government took from me. I know I got to get that book. Remember the fucking dude with all the question marks all over his fucking suit, running around looking like the fucking Riddler? You know what I'm talking about. What the hell is that guy? I'm going to look it up. Free money from the government guy looks like the Riddler. There he is. Matthew Lesko. This guy. This fucking guy, man. Where are we at? Oh my God. Dude, how many fucking suits did this guy have? He spent all the fucking money he made on these fucking question mark suits. I'm telling you. Yeah, this guy here. Where are we? Oh, I'm not. I got to share my screen. Yeah, remember this guy with the free money from the government guy with the running around with the goofy ass suits looking like the Riddler. But, like, seriously, dude, who's this fucking tailor? Number one, where's he getting these fucking suits made? And he must have got an awful lot of free money from the government or tricked enough people into buying this book that he could buy a new question mark suit like the fucking Riddler every 2 weeks. But if there's a government grant to study the mating habits of transgender Siberian squirrels, and you can get $2 million in a grant for that, where's the grant for broke ass ex-con on federal probation to start a YouTube channel fighting the government? There's got to be a fucking grant for that. How about a grant? Like, what about that little kid that we were talking about, that little dickhead on YouTube that makes $25 million a year to play with toys all day? Ryan's World, right? There's got to be a fucking grant for playing with toys. Be starting a YouTube channel to play with toys on YouTube and make 25 million a year. Started with a federal grant of $600,000. Like, fuck that Caramello guy. What the fuck? He's got a fucking GoFundMe. Yeah, here he is. Oh, they yanked it after the conviction. Oh, how about that? Yeah, that kid right there. Carmelo Anthony fundraiser. He had like $600,000 raised on Give Send Go. That's the problem. He should have went to GoFundMe. That's where the corrupt people go to get their money. Um Give Send Go is like a Christian based, like, they went to the wrong platform. I bet GoFundMe would have let that shit fly. He had been fuck, dude. If he got 600 large on GoFundMe, he'd never have to worry about commissary. But his parents probably would have taken the money and bought a new fucking Escalade and a new house. So he probably wouldn't have seen a dime of that money. Um, but there were GoFundMe's and shit for that kid before he was convicted. Um, Yeah, I think if they shut down a fundraiser like that, JS is asking, will they get a refund? Yeah, I think if you donate to a campaign, whether it's Go Fuck Me or Go whatever the fuck, or Give Send Go, or whatever platform it is, yeah, if the thing doesn't go through, you get your money back. But a lot of those have a goal, and the person doesn't get paid unless they meet the goal. It's like Kickstarters like that. But I mean, here's another example. I know I shared this with you guys, and it's just still up on Kickstarter just as an example. But like, everybody says I'm a fucking idiot because I'm chasing my dreams and I'm looking for my golden ticket. And here's a guy who went on Kickstarter. He said, I'm going to make a potato salad. He was making a potato salad for him to eat himself, not for you. Or not, he wasn't making a potato salad and like sending it to people. He's making a potato salad to eat. And he's like, give me money to make a potato salad. 6,911 backers pledged $55,492 to bring this project to life. It's right there. This motherfucker got 55,000 fucking dollars to make a goddamn potato salad. Stop telling me that I'm full of shit. Stop telling me that my dreams aren't worthwhile. There you go, Muskegee Land. You said you needed 75 large. Make a potato salad on Kickstarter. Boom. Done. That's all you got to do. You got to find some dumbass, retarded shit that people will give you money for, because it's everywhere. I could make a whole video series of the dumb shit that makes people money and makes people absolutely rich. And like I already said, if I had a couple of titties and a vagina, I'd be on OnlyFans right now. I wouldn't even be on YouTube. I'd just be whoring it out. I'd be spreading my legs. Here's my pussy. 60,000 a month. I'd be living large. I'd have a fucking mansion. I'd have a Lamborghini and a Ferrari. And I'd have a bomb ass Jeep. I'd have it all. But I'm a dude. Nobody's gonna pay that much for cock. Even the gay community, I wouldn't be able to make 60 grand a month putting my cock pictures up on OnlyFans, even if I had 6,000 gay followers looking at them all day. I mean, but a couple of tits and a vagina, you could be a 5 and make 30 grand a month. You don't even got to be an 8 or a 9 to pull that off. I mean, you could be ugly as hell. I'm on OnlyFans. I'm a whore. Come look at my titties. Like, if it's that fucking easy to make money these days, then that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for like work. I already applied to 1,000 fucking jobs. I did my part. It ain't happening. God doesn't want me to have a job. He wants me to go find some dumbass shit to do to prove to all of you that you can do it too. Because if I figure it out, I'll share it with you. If I figure out the secret to my first $1,000,000 by doing some dumbass shit, then I'll share it with you guys and say, come to the party before they shut the doors. Because anytime you find something good like that, anytime you find a golden ticket, first 10 people through the door get paid and the rest, it dies after that. You only, it's like the Indian guy, a guy from India. I'm going to look this shit up since we got a few minutes left. Well, we're actually past the 3-hour mark, but oh, a top MAGA influencer. Oh my God, is that? Oh my God, it was a MAGA influencer, a MAGA whore. Oh my God, this is so. Oh my God, here we go. Screen share. Hopefully, it's safe for YouTube. Well, it is the New York Post, so we should be all right. Top MAGA influencer revealed to be AI, created by a guy in India who made a mint off of lonely men online. A MAGA influencer who racked up millions of dollars with patriotic whore content of her posing in a bikini while ice fishing, drinking Coors Light, and shooting guns has been unmasked as an Indian man who put himself... Give me a second. My God. Okay. An Indian man who put himself through med school on the proceeds of his trickery. A 22-year-old orthopedic surgeon in training. He got the idea to sell AI-generated images of a young woman in a bikini while scrounging for money in school, trying to save up enough to immigrate to the U.S. after graduation. He turned to Google's Gemini AI for advice, decided to create a hot girl crafted specifically for the MAGA cult. After the software told him that the conservative audience has higher disposable income and is more loyal. And that's what he made. Oh my God. Are there more? Oh my God, there's more pictures. Oh my God, she's not even real. These simps are so fucking dumb. They're dropping money for an OnlyFans whore that's not even a real girl. That's fucking that's so beautiful. According to her profile, she was a registered nurse who offered red meat posts to lonely conservative men online. One post showed her firing a rifle with the caption, "If you want a reason to unfollow, Christ is king. Abortion is murder. All legals must." Is this fucking plot? Is this golden ticket still available for the taking? Because I could do this in a fucking day. I could make an OnlyFans whore, give her an X account, Instagram, TikTok. Imagine has video now. I could make her dancing around in a thong. I could do all kinds of shit with AI video now. Is this my ticket? Could I make 50,000? Muskegee Land, could you get your computer at Walmart, come up with an OnlyFans whore that you made with AI, and get your 75,000 that you're looking for in 2 months? Could you do it? I've seen girls put 2 pictures of themselves in a fucking thong on Instagram and get 60 million followers in a fucking week. Because that's what people follow. But this was back when photographers were on Instagram and it was about photography, and it wasn't just a bunch of doom scrolling dumbass retard TikTok videos all the time. But I don't know. Is this opportunity still available for the taking, or is it like a one and done? Now that this guy got outed, are people not going to fall for it anymore? Or because I have a feeling there's a lot more dumb fucking simps out there that would fall for this. I have a feeling there's a bunch of dumb simps who would still pay for the pussy pictures even if they weren't, even if they knew it was fake. And they would still hit on her every day and tell her that she's beautiful every day in all the comments under the pictures, like the simps do on fucking Instagram and YouTube and everywhere else. Yeah, dude, the Hawk Tuah girl. The fucking Hawk Tuah girl. What's she worth right now? You said 6 million. Oh, according to Google, the Hawk Tuah girl is worth about 500 grand. But some claim her fortune is in the millions. During the peak of her virality in summer of 2004, she sold $65,000 worth of Hawk Tuah merchandise, including $50 signed hats and custom t-shirts. She didn't sell farts in a jar. How much did the girl make? Let's go to Gemini this time. How much did the girl make who sold farts in a jar? She made a lot of fucking money, I know that. Farts in a jar, $200,000. Stephanie Matto, the former 90 Day Fiancé star who went viral for selling her farts in a jar, made $200,000 before health issues forced her into early retirement. She was selling the jars for $1,000 each, but she offered a 50% discount to the first 100 buyers. Some fucking dumb cunt can make 200 grand selling farts in a jar. I mean, okay, so let's say you made, is that $200 gross minus the cost of the jars? I think I can get well, what are the mason jars costing now? Mason jars. All right, so mason jars, $20 for 6. 20 divided by 6, that is $3.33 per jar. 333 times, well, let's see, $200,000 at 1,000. 200,000 divided by 1,000. So that's 200 jars of farts times 3. So that's $666 in the cost of jars minus the 200,000 that she made. Yeah, she made like $199,000 in profit after the cost of the jars. I mean, and postage, shipping. Fuck, we'll have to add another couple of bucks in shipping for each jar. She probably had to get some bubble wrap, some cardboard boxes, and some shipping labels. Did she have that? Did she have the orders fulfilled by like a fulfillment, or did she have to take all the jars to the post office herself? But it was only 200 jars. I mean, well, I guess if the first 500 were $500, that accounts for. No, that's not even right. What is the first 100 jars were 500? So that's $50,000 there, and then. Okay, so $150,000 divided by 1,000 is 150 jars. So she sold 250 jars of farts. So she had to go to the post office 250 times or less. She was rushed into the emergency room because to keep up with skyrocketing consumer demand, She consumed a strict, heavy diet of fiber and protein, primarily beans, eggs, and protein shakes. She began experiencing severe chest pains and genuinely believed that she was having a heart attack or a stroke. Doctors at the hospital informed her that the pain was actually the result of extreme gas buildup, and she was advised to alter her eating habits and take gas suppressants. So she might, I mean, how much did her medical bills cost for the health problems caused by the farts in the jar? So, if we start out with $200,000 profit or $200,000 gross minus, let's say $2,000 in jars and shipping costs minus, I don't know, $20,000 in medical expenses, you're still left with $178,000, and even after taxes, you're still left with like $120K for farts in a jar. But I mean, if it took a year to sell all the farts in the jar, then you could just get a 6-figure job doing something legit. But I don't know, it's probably easier. That's after JS says don't forget 30% tax. The 120K is after the 30%, after you subtract the 200,000 gross minus the $2,000 in jars and shipping expenses and shipping labels and all that. Assuming that she went to the post office herself to ship each jar, she was left with like, 195,000 there. Then you multiply that by the 30% tax, you're left with like 120 grand. For selling farts in a jar, that's not too bad. If you got all the jars sold in like 2 months. But you're not going to retire on that. But I actually subtracted, I think I subtracted 20,000 for medical expenses, just in case her medical bills were high. And she later diversified her product offering by selling jars of boob sweat for $300 to $500 each, as well as launching a line of fart scented candles. So you know what? Don't fucking tell me that I can't make it. Don't fucking start with that shit. I can make $50,000 for a potato salad. I could sell farts in a jar. I could be a grumpy cat. We talked about the angry cat last week that made millions of dollars. The fucking cat living in a mansion eating filet mignon every day, while the old Walmart greeter down the street's eating fucking cat food because Walmart don't pay him enough to afford groceries. So fuck that. If a cat can be a millionaire, there's no fucking reason that none of us can do it too. She sold bath water too, according to JS. But I don't got tits and a pussy, so I can't. I've got the meme for this somewhere, but I probably don't. I don't have it keyworded, so I won't find it. I already know I won't find it. But basically, if you're a dude, you got to work your ass off if you want to make it, or you find your golden ticket. There's dudes out there playing video games. There's people who, if I started a YouTube, like when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, as much as I don't want to get sucked into a video game, why not go out and buy an Xbox or a high-end PC or a PlayStation 5 or whatever and a nice TV, hook up Grand Theft Auto 6 to YouTube and start playing Grand Theft Auto every day and just do that? What if I made $300,000 in a month playing Grand Theft Auto on fucking YouTube? Like, would that be a bad thing? I'd probably get sick and tired of it. Oh fuck, I gotta go bang a bunch of hookers and beat them in the head with a baseball bat, so I can get, because when you bang a hooker in Grand Theft Auto, you gotta bang the hooker. Then when she gets out of the car, you get out of the car and you go beat her with the baseball bat until she's dead. Then you get your money back. And people wonder, well, why don't you just shoot her? Well, because bullets cost money. A baseball bat's free. But I mean, can I do that every fucking day? But if I was making six figures to sit in front of a TV and play Grand Theft Auto all fucking day, I guess I could think of worse things to do. Imagine telling that to my probation officer. Yeah, I put in my required 30 hours this week. I beat up a bunch of fucking hookers. I ran away from the cops, had 5 stars, killed a bunch of FBI agents. Yeah, fucking ran a bunch of drugs, blew up some buildings, stole a bunch of fucking cars, got myself a nice crib, got myself a lot of guns, a lot of shit you guys don't know about. But believe me, you're not going to find it if you go looking either. My probation runs out soon. By the time Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, probably won't be on probation the way that shit's going. But seriously, like, there's going to be people making $100,000 a month on YouTube playing a fucking video game when that shit comes out. And that's it. I never understood why people would want to watch somebody play a video game. When I was a kid, we had to fight for the fucking controller. Like, you die 3 times, you gotta, it's like puff puff pass with a Nintendo. You die 3 times, you gotta pass that fucking controller. You don't get to just hold on to it. That's why when James Bond came out on the N64 and 4 people at once could play, that was like almost the solution to everybody's problems, because all 4 of us could sit there. Granted, you had one little corner of the TV screen that was yours, and you could see what everybody else was doing at the same time. And when you were playing all 4 people at once, the frame rate and the quality of it was horrid. But you didn't have to wait for someone to pass the controller, did you? Unless there were 5 people in the room. So, but I don't understand why somebody wants to get on YouTube and be like, I want to watch this guy play a video game. Like, who the fuck does that? But apparently enough people are into that there's people making millions of dollars a month on YouTube to play fucking video games. So I don't know if I should be doing this live stream and talking to you guys and all that. I should go get a fucking Xbox, plug it into YouTube, and be like, I'm done. I bet I could get 2,000 subscribers in a fucking week doing that. And you watch that channel multiply into the fucking stratosphere while I'm trying to do real shit here and not going anywhere. I'm just, you got to think about these things. It's not really what I want to do, but I mean, I also don't want to work. Like, I don't want to work. If some bitch can get rich selling farts in a jar, like, what the fuck am I doing trying to do work? Like, that's just not, the world does not work for people who want to work anymore. The world works for someone who wants to sell a fart in a jar, who wants to put a grumpy cat on Facebook and make $2 million fucking dollars and have its own Grumpachino coffee line, and want to put a fucking potato salad on Kickstarter and get 50 grand. Like, that's what the world that we live in now that's the economy we're in now. The retarded shit show economy. You got to think like a retarded shit show to make it in this world. And I'm not there yet. I haven't gone full retard. I haven't, like, my brain hasn't gone retarded enough to make it in this world yet. But I'm working on it. So hopefully, maybe I'll figure it out one of these days. But until then, I'm going to say, let's see, do I have anything else, announcements, anything else to talk about? No. But yeah, we'll be back next week for the live stream, 3 hours at least. Maybe we'll start. I didn't get any replies in the chat, but if you're a channel member and you want to do like where we switch to the members only and have a little private discussion and have a little bit of fun for a last hour or something like that, we could start that next week. I want to do something for the channel members to make that fun. I'll do maybe the members only live streams again. Whatever happens in the members only live stream stays in the members only live stream. Um, I've been a little bit short on time. That's why I don't do it right now. If I could combine them so that they're the same day and night, that would work for me better. But even after tonight, it's 9:30. I'm gonna go get a bowl of freaking yogurt with some chocolate chunks that I'm mixing. I'm gonna sit and watch some TV for half an hour, and then I'm gonna go back and do like 2 hours of freelance work. So it's gonna be like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock when I quit, and then I'm gonna get up tomorrow and do it. I'm gonna try to go to the gym tomorrow because I'm really feeling like I need it, and so that's gonna take a bunch of time out. But anyway, yeah, I'm all over the place. I'm scatterbrained and I'm kind of tired and I'm just kind of I'm looking for my fart in a jar. So, with that, thank you all for showing up. It's been real. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for chatting in the chat, giving us something to talk about. You steer the ship a little bit here as we do these live streams. It's fun. I like doing it. I don't care about the money. It's not a thing. I do the YouTube because it's fun. And if YouTube wants to keep me on shadow ban and do whatever they do, fuck them. I don't care. I'm still gonna do it, but I got to mix it up and I got to figure out a way to do it that works for me. If I could turn this into an actual livelihood, like there's a lot of people who just make tons of money to sit on YouTube and bitch about the government all day. I sit around and bitch about the government all day too. Why can't I get paid for that? These people do. Lots of people do. Alex Jones. Alex Jones couldn't have been sued for $1 billion if he wasn't making millions of dollars in the first place. And what does he do? He sits around bitching about the government all day. I do that. I think I do a better job than him. I'm a little bit less crazy, not much, but a little bit less crazy than him. And so, like, why the fuck can't I do that? Damn it. So until I figure that out, I'm going to say peace out to everybody, and I hope you have a good one, and I'll see y'all next week.